All right, stop laughing. Good evening, everyone. This is the DARKHARTE podcast, episode 4. I have with us...
That's my favorite number!
We're number 4, okay? So don't worry about it. So I have with me tonight Torin, my good friend, okay? Works at the Cheesecake Factory, Anaheim Incorporated. Also joining me from the same staff is Matt, as well as Morgan and Kate. I'm going to give you guys a moment to introduce yourselves, but we're intending on just jumping into, I think, a little bit about ourselves first, and we'll be following through with, I think, some life stories and some good SoCal culture, as we can see right in front of us on camera here. We don't need to be worried about that. Totally. See, people say legal. I think it's just normal. That's life.
Fair.
It's always been happening, no matter what you call it.
That's got a scent.
No,
I wasn't expecting that. Is it? Okay.
What,
I've never had kombucha before.
It's not bad for you. Do you want to see it, bro? Do you want to jump in, or?
There's a
No,
place
like, see right here.
We'll take us in. It's called Bucha Bar.
Whoa,
It's
that's not
all
bad.
Raw
That's not
kombucha
bad.
on tap. It's live.
Oh my goodness. All right, so Matt,
Yep.
you and I have, I think, something I want to get into. We don't have to jump in right away. I want to kind of talk to everyone first, and then I want to talk to you about urban decay and how we might be able to work together.
Yes.
Your background's in photography, but do you want anything kind of to say about yourself right now to kind of give a little kind of background as we jump into the night?
No.
Well, maybe what's yeah,
I was
like
born in Northern California,
okay, yeah.
raised in Southern California. Just been doing photography since I was 19.
And you were really, really interested in it. But you didn't start doing it until when? Like, really getting into it, professionally?
2 years ago.
How's that worked out?
16.
It's been 2 years.
It's been an interesting road. Had a lot of ups and downs, but it's been mostly positive. I've learned a lot. I get into less trouble when I have something to set my mind on, so that's the biggest win in my
And you're passionate about it, which is cool. And he's really fucking good at it.
Man, how old are you?
24.
I think we really hit this home in the last podcast. We spent a while on it and then came back to it. Struggle is necessary for life and for the development of, I think, a balanced life, for the well-balanced individual, especially in today's world. We live in a world, I think, of very unbalanced people, and I think in the serving perspective, we actually see that more often than, well, honestly, anyone. How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you're going somewhere particular? Do you have a deadline or anything right now? Just doing photography, just living?
Yeah, just freelancing, doing photography. I will be the owner of a creative empire in Los Angeles at some point. I'm going to have a building with stuff on the bottom level, first level, third level, second level, or fourth level, all the way up to the seventh.
That sounds like a beautiful project.
Fuck,
Man.
I didn't know that.
I like it. I like that you said
Really,
I will.
side note,
Not I wanna.
the most heartbreaking thing ever, last year, over 51,000 Americans took their own lives, and that is, that number is, way too high, and it just kills me, and it, brings tears to my eyes when I talk about it, and I want to, benefit someone's mental health, or bring attention to, mental health in general with every project I do for the rest of my life, so I want to figure out a way to work that into what goes on, but that's kind of what I do, what I strive for. So
I think having passion for something philanthropic is really a really great sign of grace, I think. Not just thinking of yourself, actively looking to look outside of yourself and better the world. I think that's something that's not a lot of people can do. They can imagine, but they're not willing to say it, they're willing to do it. Is there anything in your life that's really driven that home for you, or?
I just have been a man of a lot of bottled up emotion my whole life, and just creativity really helps bring that out, video and singing and making music and dancing and photography in particular for me, but just creative outlets. Had I discovered them earlier, I think I would have found my way earlier. So I want to provide a way for people to have creative outlets, whether it be through monthly workshops that are free for a year for use just for the sake of learning, or something along those lines. But it would have helped me a lot and driven me in the right direction a lot had I known those were available to me at a younger age. So
What you're kind of describing, I almost have kind of this feeling of this crazy New York freak with the white hair. What's his name? Has all those crazy drawings of Campbell soup. What's that guy's name?
Andy Warhol.
Yeah, that's the one. He had like kind of like a creative empire at the factory. So I don't know. Are you kind of like looking for that kind of role? Would you say?
I don't know. I don't really know what I'm in for at this point. I'd like to be that influential. I think I could be that influential, but I don't really know.
I think you gotta believe it to make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like
Work
you have
at
the
it.
platform to do it.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. I mean,
Today's
like, if
world,
you market
yeah.
it properly, then like absolutely. But I like that you're focusing on like a mental health aspect of it to like help people, because I feel like having mental health issues is such a stigma and people don't talk about it enough. And like we used to have mental health care facilities and all of them are shut down. So people don't have places to go when they have like serious mental illnesses where they should be getting the help that they need. Unless you have like tons of money to spend on that kind of thing, you're not going to get the help that you need. And like I have mental health issues and I don't talk about it openly with a lot of people because I feel like there's a lot of judgment on that end. So like even while we're at work, people will be like, oh, you're so high strung, or you're always such an emotional mess. Like I've gone through shit and that's why I am the way that I am. But like I try to funnel it like you do in different ways to like help myself get through it. But people don't talk about it openly or help themselves to get out of it. So like for photography, bringing yourself joy and like passion in what you do, and there's ways to help others in doing it. I think that that's like super special, that you're able to like kind of communicate that with others and eventually help others with it. So I like that approach.
What do you like shooting? Like, are you like do you like shooting people, like
So
things,
I was
places?
like traditionally trained as a landscape photographer. I would go out like solo for 10 days at a time and kind of just road trip and take pictures of sunrises and sunsets. But like as I get older, I realize that, like, don't get me wrong, Earth is the most beautiful thing in the whole entire universe that I've seen. But like the emotion that you get from a human being and like the interaction you get from a human being and like the thought that somebody has if you give every person 5 minutes, like everybody's got something to offer.
Mm-hmm.
And like I don't really know a lot of people that I've worked with. Like I've gone to New York Fashion Week and worked with big name models who had no clue who they are. And,
As
like,
a person, right?
as a person, yeah. And like I approach them not knowing who they are, and they like vibe with me because I have no expectations going into them as a human being.
You don't want anything.
I'm not looking for anything out of them. And like
other than
these girls with 25 million followers on Instagram are just they're just cool.
I think they're like able to be themselves with you because you don't expect so much out of
Because
them.
I have no idea who they are. Just like, what's your name?
Yeah. Because I'm
Like,
sure when they're
excuse
with
me?
like huge, crazy name photographers, they're just like, I have to put on this like certain persona, I have to be it. Whereas they're, with their guard down with you.
Humans.
Yeah, it's nice. Not that I'm a model.
Morgan has actually, can you hear just a little bit from you? A little more from who you are.
Oh,
Who's stealing?
why over to me? All right. God, you need a longer podcast. You go to shit. So, I'm born and raised in Southern California. I originally wanted to be a journalist when I was a kid. So I was like all about, I don't know, like interviewing people and like wanting to hear their stories.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really into true crime because someone was murdered on my street, and like it was nuts. But it was like how my parents scared me to come home before curfew, I guess. But like then whenever I saw like sirens or police cars, I'd be like, we have to follow that car. So my parents would be like driving home from dinner and like take me to those places. So I knew what I thought I knew what I wanted to do. But I went to college when I was like 17 years old, and I started taking journalism classes, and they were like, one of you will have a paid job when you graduate. Well, there's like 200 of us in this class, and those aren't great odds. And I just feel like what I was learning wasn't vibing with like what I thought the career would be. So I like kind of reassessed it, and I really like creative aspects of, I guess, like anything. And so that's why I like thought about going into business and marketing and advertising. So that's what I'm studying now, and I want to start my own business in marketing, like I guess, empowering smaller businesses and like woman-owned businesses, the people that are getting like, and Matt, but like, I mean, I guess my focus was starting with like bathing suits and lingerie for like full-figured women, because I'm all about like the body positive movement and like learning to accept myself through that, because I've always had struggles with it. So that was like one thing I wanted to focus on, and then just doing marketing in general. I've like talked with Matt, and we've thought of like ideas to just like get people out there and do like not free marketing, but like using our creativity and his skill to like do stuff to help small businesses just like get noticed, because like everything's a big business now and the small people just aren't noticed. And I feel like if you create a platform where they can and where people can see them, like it will be beneficial for a lot of people. So I guess that's kind of the direction that I'm heading after graduating, and I guess seeing where the world takes me. But that's my path as of right now.
I like it.
Yeah.
Kate, something you want to say?
I'm a gangster. But y'all knew that.
Stupid.
We all knew
No,
that.
like,
Come on.
Just kidding. I was born and raised in Southern California, from the flower. Became Bellflower.
No one calls it that.
I do.
Okay.
I do.
Get Bellflower.
I
You
do.
guys are calling
On the
yourself a
map.
flower now.
Okay.
So
No.
Start it.
I'm 25 years old. I'm just trying to think. I'm not really that interesting,
I'm sorry.
but I'm a certified hot mess for sure.
That's okay.
Like,
Recently
Where
going
where did I
your
put my
degree?
pen?
What?
Where'd you get your degree?
I have no degree.
Oh.
Except in
And
I thought you said you
pimpology
were certified in hot
You
mess.
say
and pimpology. Yes.
it's like I
Those who are native here, Matt, don't. Yeah.
Right. No, yeah. Recently going through a divorce at 25. Lived in Virginia for about 3 years, like DC area. Sounds very interesting on the soul, for sure. I think everyone should experience somewhere out of California to kind of understand what type of people there are out there, especially being in the service industry. I think it's very trying on the soul. I wanted so badly to get out of California until I got out, and then I realized, like, wow,
the best place ever.
though these people in California are truly amazing. Like, I would hold open doors for people, and they would just brush by me like I didn't even exist. I would say, have a good day, and they'd just look me up and down like I was nothing. And once I, like, came back to California to visit, it was awesome, because people were just like, hey, like, have a great day. Like, thank you for coming in. Like, just those little things. Like, you don't understand how much that impacts someone's day. Like, holding open a door. Like, I love your scarf. You know,
Thank you.
like, genuine compliments.
Yeah.
Like, those are very important on the human soul. So I think that we should just be more kind to one another, because you never know what people are dealing with, like, at all. Like, you wouldn't look at me and be like, oh, her mom had her on heroin. Like, she grew up, like, crazy. Like, some man tried to kill me and, like, come through my window when I was little. Like, all these different things. My dad was incarcerated for, like, 15 years. My mom was a drug addict. Always had to have a life. But, like, just the facade of, like, sometimes what we put on is, like, definitely a defense mechanism for some people, but you never know who you're dealing with or, like, what you're saying to somebody. It goes back into, like, waiting tables.
Yeah.
Sometimes us as servers or bartenders, like, look at people and they're like, they're not going to tip me shit. But little do you know, like, they're a CEO of a fucking company.
Yeah.
And, like, you just treated them like shit, so you're going to get no money instead of all the money.
Everyone judged my table the other day. Like, even our general manager was like,
I
oh,
did.
tell them that we don't do the gardener discount. It's a very fucked up fucking thing to say.
That's so fucked up.
And I was just like, you know, I'm hungover and I'm here, and like, I'm just gonna serve this table and it doesn't matter. I'm being nice to them. Like, I'm nice to all of my tables. I only have one freaking table, unlike Matt, who gets sassy with his tables. But
Oh, I know which one you're talking about.
So they
Remember that day?
they ended up leaving me a 40% tip on almost a $600 check. So
Awesome.
That's
it,
hot.
and no one expected it. Like, people were like, oh, what did they tip you? Kind of like being a
She
jackass
showed me, and
about
I
it.
thought it was a typo.
And I was just like, no, this is what they gave me. Like, everyone was like, oh, good luck with that table. I'm like, actually, they're very kind. And like, 2 of them hugged me before they left, and another man like shook my hand. And I think that like judging people before you, and like, it sucks that you're judging them based on like how much money they're going to give you. But I think that just like comes down to the kind of person that they are and what they value. Like, they see that what we do is, it's not the best job. Like, we get treated like shit very often.
Yeah.
But we also treat people like shit
Very
often based on our judgments or like the side conversations that we have with our coworkers. And I think, like, going back to what Kate said, like, you don't know what people are like, you don't know who they are, and I think that, like, everyone should just be nicer. There's no
sure.
reason to be a dick to people.
Right. I mean, I could be a
It
dick.
takes more energy.
I think
Right,
it,
but-
it does. I think that there's this will to do yourself harm rather than do good, even though doing good would be easier for you. Like there's a willingness.
There's
to
a
do
difference between being good for the light of other people and to actually be genuinely good yourself. Like, don't do it for like the likes. Like, oh, like go on Twitter.
Yeah.
Like, I just gave a homeless man a sandwich. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking cool. But like,
virtue signaling. There you go. Yeah, that
like,
bullshit.
Are you really doing this for like the betterment of for that person,
Yeah.
or are you doing it for the betterment of you?
See, that's the one thing where it's like I don't edit any videos. I give you really real content, whatever I do, because, like, for someone coming out, for example, like all the social media I see for that is very showy. It's all for a lot of attention. I'm not hating on those people. I'm sure they're probably locked up inside for a very long time, no doubt. I've grown up that way, but I'm more than just like that faucet of me. Like, there's a whole lot going on in that respect. And so I don't edit anything out, so I think it's as real as possible for everyone to see like what's going on. And I think I got lost there for a second. I'm
It's
sorry.
like day-to-day
Don't
life,
edit it out.
though. Like,
Yeah. So
Don't
there you go.
edit it
There you
out.
go. Yeah.
it's
Because you know what
day-to-day.
other podcasts would? They would be
Yeah.
like, oh, wait, shit. Like, we had a long pause. Or, like, whatever. They'd be like, I think the authenticity is really great.
there's a chip in this glass.
Well, let's not make a big deal out of it. Kate,
Jesus
Zoom
Christ.
in on this
Where
shot
are you
right
from?
here.
I want to
where
stop
did I put my pen,
and
though?
pivot to Torin because we need to give him some screen time. Torin, what is going on, sir?
Not much. Little about me. I guess I was born in Placerville, California, up north. Grew up in Tahoe. Moved around a lot. Bounced between California and bounced between Los Angeles and Gardnerville a bunch, and ended up down here. And everyone is definitely the best down here in California. I went to Texas, and they made me a step up in Texas.
They're amazing,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Texans
yeah.
are so fucking nice.
And they
No
always
way,
say y'all,
really?
and like,
Is
they're really
Texas
nice.
for real? I've heard good
Yeah.
things, but I don't know what's
Honestly,
the
I
deal.
went to
That's
Burnet,
not-
like right on the lake, and it was pretty good. Some jet skis when I was younger. Coming back here,
Check the floor.
I did.
Coming back here, I didn't have much luck. I bounced around between a few jobs, plumbing and serving.
Yeah, what
Yes.
happened to you? Why aren't you working with us anymore?
Are you
Uh,
worked at
I-
your
Because they hired
I-
Torin too and got rid of Torin.
Aren't you at Tyler?
Yeah.
I just got
Tyler? He
I
was
got a
in
job at
the
Yamaha
I love
in
it.
Cyprus, and I've been working on my own home business of a rosin extraction company. And I got a press in the mail, and I've been starting pressing out some big slabs of rosin and testing it, making sure it's okay, obviously.
like, that's my favorite part.
Well, so long as I was just gonna say, I'm not
He's
sure
going
if
to take a large scale though.
I
He's
want
the
to.
CEO of a.
Oh, don't worry,
He's
don't worry.
been in my
I
mouth
wanna-
my whole fucking
Don't worry, you were getting high. See, that's why I had that brain fart.
Oh, God.
I will say, just to give you some attention, what's your contact if you want any, and what do you go by on Instagram if you want the attention?
It's I just go by Small Hut Extractions on Instagram. Hut is spelled with 2 T's. And
But-
that's about it.
He also provides cannabis expertise, cannabis genetics,
Yeah,
growing
everything's-
tips, seedling tips, planting tips, cannabis health tips.
Tips of the day.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No,
You
not.
just kept saying tip, and I got distracted.
I did, but
Yeah.
That's okay.
Torin's an expert in the field, so trying to make sure.
Yeah, everything's homegrown, solventless, extracted rosin, and flour, of course. I don't really use any pesticides. It's all outdoor for now. I haven't really started growing indoor yet, but I kind of want to experiment soon. But
I have a question on that point. In the last podcast, Caitlin joined us from work.
Oh, did she?
Yeah, she at one point in time worked for a weed business. I'm not sure which one specifically, but she mentioned that she worked in the back, labeling things, rolling things, and that you're handed weed and you're bottling stuff and you're writing names. So Do you have any experience in that regard? Like, do you know like what you're getting? Like, are you getting stuff by seed, or are you getting it from other people? Like,
I started off with some blueberry seeds, and I currently have this one phenotype of blueberry which turns almost black on the top of the leaves and violet underneath, and it smells really good.
Huh.
An earthy and blueberry musky scent. This is just all around great. And I have a clone of that goes year round, and I clone it and I run just that, a bunch of plants.
How many plants?
Last crop I had 2 big plants and probably got about 2-3 pounds.
Is that a lot?
And yeah,
That's a lot per plant,
An
right?
eighth
yeah.
of an
Yeah.
ounce. is
how much square
$35.
footage do you need to operate even a single plant?
Not very much. Probably like 15 by 8 or 10.
So that's like
That's
two
what
of
I
you.
did with my 2 plants. And I had a lot of extra room.
Mhm.
If I leveled out the dirt, I could probably fit about 4 or 6 in there.
Mhm.
Probably get about 12 pounds, 20 pounds if I can. Yeah.
we're just having
Fucking rookie.
Don't worry, it's
Fucking
this is
rookie.
real life.
Trying to
Yeah.
do some hydroponics.
see in the movies they edit this shit out.
Okay.
Matt's doing fine. No
You're
stress.
doing great, sweetie.
I wouldn't cut it behind the bar.
No.
What is
Just
that?
keep living your life.
Your best way.
It's not. It's kombucha.
Is it alcoholic?
That'll clean your
Yeah.
insides out. Yes, it is.
Oh, I need
Will it
to
get you
go.
drunk?
Just like a tad on top.
Yeah,
No,
don't
wait.
worry, pop
Oh
it.
God, we're fine. No, hey, you're right.
We are friends. We share things.
Is there a
Cheers.
another glass?
Can we do a cheers?
Here, just have this one.
Just have his and
Yeah.
the other one.
Cheers, guys.
Ooh.
Cheers.
Devin, thank you for your hospitality.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Oh,
Yes,
that
of
was
course. You're welcome.
And this is like just now
No,
starting,
thank
so
you.
I'm like, I'm ready for this. I'm here for this. Just want to like quick shout out to Sprouts for having the funniest bag.
Every day I'm pressing.
It has Brussels sprouts on it. Okay, that's it.
It's cool to like flag anything on here. This is real
I
life.
was really, really thrilled because I love Brussels sprouts a lot.
Good
And
for you.
Yard House has the best Brussels sprout like plate.
What is it?
Well, it's Brussels sprouts and then like these potatoes and then
Ooh.
with a malt vinegar aioli.
Any bacon?
Ooh.
No.
that actually
Damn
sounds
it.
pretty
You
good.
could probably add
Vinegar
bacon
is the
to it.
tits.
I like potatoes.
There's a place on
I
4th
like
Street in
potatoes.
Long Beach.
I like them taters.
Name it. Tell me.
I think it's called the Communist or the Communist, something weird like that. It's on 4th Street, not far from Cherry.
I know. Yes, I know what you're talking about.
I think it's like it's by the 4th Street Vine, which is a little like a drink and show place where you can see like that music.
Yeah,
music.
and
Okay.
it's like kind of like hip.
Yeah, it's
hippie-ish,
it's it's
Say
super fucking
it.
hipster.
Say the
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't want to say the word with like a negative.
They have, if I may, they have
I'll
got
fucking say it.
an amazing like bacon guacamole roasted Brussels sprout salad thing, and that's it's like incredible.
That
Yes,
sounds
I'm
Super
going
good.
to Long Beach on Sunday.
Drinks, drinks, and it's I think the Commune,
Yeah,
something like that. So
Okay.
it's on 4th Street.
Have you heard of
LB.
what is it called?
Yeah.
What do they have there?
La Cantina.
Wow.
It's in Los San Clemente.
I like
By
San
where is
Clemente.
Fashion Island?
Newport.
Newport Beach.
Costa Mesa.
Costa
Corona
Mesa.
del Mar.
There it
Oh,
is.
okay.
No,
Costa
Corona del
Mesa.
Mar.
It's Costa Mesa, though,
Okay.
where this is located. And they have amazing
Mm,
Taco
Levita
Tuesday.
Cantina.
Levita Cantina!
Morgan's been there.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay,
place.
they serve margaritas and like real ass pineapples and watermelons, and it looks delish. And I want to go, but
I'll
I
go.
have friends.
That sounds like the shit.
We gotta go.
When's the last time
I want to go
Sunday.
swinging
Okay.
I am
somewhere.
off on Sunday.
I used to pass by that and go to lunch there all the time.
What street is it off of?
Really?
The historic
It's
Industrial
right off
Park.
the
Yeah.
55 at
Yeah.
Triangle
Is it-
Square.
Ooh, yeah.
Triangle
Yeah.
Plaza.
I just have like their
That's
street
usually named
tacos.
now,
What?
Triangle Square.
That's
Well,
silly.
because two
Yeah.
And yeah, they're pretty dang.
shapes,
they're always
It's
dang.
just-
street
Make-
tacos wherever you go.
it confuses.
Make us
That's
feel
silly.
it.
That's so
But
silly.
it was fine. I really like it there. It's good stuff.
Fun environment, right?
Mm-hmm.
They followed me on Instagram, and I was like,
All about those followers.
Ticket
Oh my goodness.
advertisement. I get it. I'm not special. However, I wanted to get my 5-second thing.
So dumb. Devin,
No, but I heard it's amazing.
Click it up. It's fine. Talk, and then I will have the question for you.
I don't think I have a question. I just wanted to say your name.
Please.
I'll remember it.
Okay.
It'll come back to me.
Oh wait, that's
Torin.
the point. I was gonna say. Oh no. What did you just smoke, and how high are you? No, wait. That's a wait. My point is that's a legit
Why does it
question.
sound like we're out of
Because-
fucking 2020?
No. No, because we started and Torin is getting real lit when we just started. So I mean, that's a valid question to kind of touch on that. It's a good like flag for your business.
Well, that one was a real small dab that I got ready for somebody else around here.
Okay, I didn't know what was going on. I'm sorry.
Try it out if anybody was down to try out my.
Yeah, I'd be willing to try that on there. That's fine. I guess we're getting the mutton cheese now.
So I just did it, but I also just kind of been dabbing since I got off of work.
At what time was that?
5.
I guess it's the third dab in. Fourth, fifth.
I think
a lot.
Tyler does that. Tyler dabs.
That's a
Huh?
very
Tyler.
interesting looking.
We still work with Tyler, right?
Yeah.
He's got
Is he still a single parent, or does he do that anymore?
He
still?
has his girlfriend, I thought, that lived with him.
Wow, I haven't
That's a
been to.
chicken.
I don't know what goes on in his life.
I haven't been to his house in a very long time, so I don't know.
All I remember is like his parents like had a problem with him in his life, and that's all I know.
I think that
It's
if
weird.
he is doing the single dad thing, then he's killing the game. And I
Good.
have all,
Good for him.
yeah, like, I don't think that he stays at work super late, so we can, like, go home. And I'm assuming, like, see his kid. But I don't 100% know. Tyler.
The buzzer?
No. Server. With the septum piercing.
Tyler Merrill.
He doesn't
Oh,
say very
the
many
skinny,
words.
small, like Asian looking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
He doesn't
Oh,
say
he's
anything.
very nice.
Is he?
He's mixed for sure.
Yeah.
He's very nice.
He is very nice.
I did not know
love
that
him.
he had a kid.
A lot of people
Yeah,
don't
as a
know.
kid.
I'm very
like
new, so I don't
5?
really know.
Almost.
Probably
He's gonna be
like
3 soon.
No, he's a
Was that
sweetheart though.
3?
He's a really good guy. I like him.
I thought it was
Very
3 last
genuine.
time I saw him.
Yes, that's what I love about
He
him.
was
He's from the
huge
bakery.
last time
He
I saw him.
has not said very many words to me, but he's one of the best friends of Cheesecake, and I've learned more about living my life from him than almost anybody.
Wow,
That's really
that's very
cool.
powerful.
He never,
That's awesome.
he never gives me credit for anything. It's like,
Morgan taught me some really interesting lessons too.
There you go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's
Or
due.
I taught
Where
myself
it's
some
due.
really interesting lessons while Morgan was around.
Would
Like,
anybody
don't
like?
swallow too many dicks at the same time or what?
Hey, no.
I'm
Actually,
kidding.
I tried.
Would
I'm
anybody
getting-
like?
I was talking about when we went
I
to
would
go
love
and
to
shoot
try
that
one.
meteor shower that was an unsuccessful
The
shoot.
last one?
No, this
Oh,
was
the last one was
this
trash,
was
though.
before like Matt
How do we do
got
this?
into wait what?
I'm gonna do this. Let's check it out.
Oh my god!
It's about to be loud.
Was it? Well, don't light me on fire. What do we have to do?
What? No,
This is
keep
serious.
that thing up over there. Don't
Keep
put,
that thing back where it came from, or so help me.
I'll just heat it up
So help
real
me.
quick.
Cut!
Scoop up how much you want. That's 2.5 grams the whole bit.
Fucking turn this
But, like,
upside down, you guys.
it just depends on how high you want to be.
oh my god!
Torn,
Oh, I
finish
see what
this?
you're saying.
This is yours.
Like,
That's
Is that a lot?
this is probably good if you don't dab a lot.
I don't dab
not
very
a player, I
often,
just dab a lot.
so I'll get a good amount, and then we'll
I
go
was
from
just
there.
putting my cup out. I wasn't-
I have a good. Actually, you know what? We'll do this, and I got a great story that's gonna follow up. This is perfect, actually. This was meant to be, guys.
Here, pull it fast like taffy. Snap.
You have good
I feel like
instincts.
I'm in fear for my lighter.
Well, I, for one, am cold. Thank you very much.
This is exciting.
Seriously.
This is how Tyler I kicked that
Kinda hovered above, right?
Oh, no, wait. No. It's way too hot.
Well,
Well, you tell me.
So right now it vaporizes it
Right?
too hot and it hurts your
What is
throat. Torn waits till it's just above. Just
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 let's
above.
give you a
Does
little
it
bit
like
more.
burn the wax?
yeah,
Yeah.
it like totally
Okay.
Burns it. It like
it
Defeats the
sublimates it.
You
It
gotta
goes
wait,
from a
like,
solid
probably
straight
a
to a
minute.
gas. It
Okay.
doesn't even go to a liquid.
You just let me know.
Yep.
Yeah.
Is this like what they
That
do at the
hurts.
dispensaries?
Should you be breathing in
no,
as soon
they
as you
don't
start
fuck at the
putting it in?
dispensaries. They're like, here's your
Okay.
free dab.
It's slow.
Be on your way.
But it's still like red. It's molten hot.
Oh no,
Like,
I'm just getting
Touch
ready.
it to this side because if you touch it to this side, it'll just suck straight through the straw and it
Okay,
won't
so
burn.
over here. Okay, inside, down, last.
It's
Okay.
like science.
Too slow.
See, this is why I can't do this stuff often.
That's
Like I
'cause
couldn't do this for my
I've
life.
made all
Yeah,
the
no.
mistakes.
This is
I
why I
guess
get
like-
like joints.
Yeah, I just do like the old school shit.
I'm
Do
not
people
a
even, like-
dabber.
Do you even
See, Tyler says he does this exclusively, and I can't do that.
Well, I think that he said that he
I
was having a
will
harder
dab.
time getting high.
See, that's what I'm saying.
with
People say they only
regular
dab
stuff because
now.
he was dabbing a lot.
It's
He-
easier
Yeah,
to
Tyler
smoke
was
Since
it.
then,
You don't have
tolerance,
to
I mean,
pull
that's
in
like
like
a
burnt
good
pump
amount of
too.
THC, like pure THC.
Probably go for it.
How much percent of THC is that?
See, it could be like
Probably like 80 to 90.
80 to 90, right? Yeah.
98% probably.
That's like your standard wax.
Yeah.
In a
And
sense,
all
right?
solventless.
it depends. Yeah, solventless stuff is like all 80 to 90, but like
Oh, okay.
CO2 and like methane stuff, it's like a
So you
little
didn't
less.
get anything.
Yeah, I did.
Oh, maybe you did. Go again.
Smoked DMT out of a rig.
Ooh.
DMT is fucking wild.
That
I've
was the
smoked
first
DMT.
psychedelic drug I've ever done in my life.
This is
I did at Kern.
This is on the
Really?
this is on the air, dog.
Fucking DMT was fucking wild. It really was.
No, yeah, that shit was wild. I didn't like cross over it, but I felt like
Yeah.
it was like deja vu, and everything was really silent, kind of like an acid trip.
Nuts.
It was very
Should get
silent.
pretty
I
high,
heard
maybe.
everything was in my ear,
But
tasty,
anybody
huh?
else like
and
a
it looked like a
Oh,
true
really?
wave of color.
dab?
It's like a completely different feeling. I'm
I'll
good.
do like a really small baby one, like for real small baby. Like little
The
mini.
second
So
time
I
did it?
yeah, jump into it and then I got a story.
No, okay. I haven't either time. The first time I
I'm
did it,
taking that
it was cool, but my friend was
Not bad.
okay. So the first time I did it, the like guy was like scared, so he passed me like a half of a bowl, and I was like, okay, like I melted into the that, and like I didn't. So the second time I did it, and I went to like I did it, and I pressed play on my phone, and we had like a wireless pair of headphones. And I went to like put it on my head and listen to the music that I chose, and I let go of it with my hand on accident, and it smacked me in the head, and then the headband broke. And then the only noise, I just closed my eyes because I was like scared and like I had weird stuff going on, and then the only noise I could hear was this other guy who had just done it snoring so loud, and it was like
I
the
don't
most
like
terrifying
those
noise,
kinds
and I
of
couldn't control my thoughts. And it was like one of the scariest
Oh.
moments of my life. It
Really?
was wild. Yeah.
Little baby.
Loved it in Kern. I just felt like so positive and at peace with myself, and I felt like it was kind of like a little like tweak on my
Was
emotional.
the same day that you
Psyche?
came home to go to work?
No,
Oh, that was a nuts day.
that was with Torin.
Yeah.
It's okay.
I showed up to work and Joe was bartending, and I was like, I took LSD with Torin like 12 hours ago.
Wait, when was this?
Just like, what the fuck?
No, he told me too, and I was like, "Why are you here?" And he was just
I
like,
went
"Work
to the
is
Kern
great."
River,
I'm
and I
like,
worked till 11 a.m.
Oh, that
For
was
the one
great.
time.
Oh yeah, I had to do a shift, and there was this girl's backpack.
You have
This
that,
little
like,
girl's backpack that had
super
like
senses where
a
you feel everything.
color shift kind of thing on it, and like I just kept looking at it in the sun, and I was during when I was working, I was like,
It's the worst when you're that high because if you start laughing, you're toast.
yeah.
I don't go to
I
work
wasn't
like
there,
that.
like I fell asleep.
Same.
Kate?
It's me. It's me, Jessica.
So- Okay, so I used to live in Long Beach, off Anaheim and Redondo. You know, it's like an okay place if you're right on the street. Otherwise, the next street over here is bad. The chill
Napa
place
lot?
up, what? It's good there. But I used to pick up in this place in San Pedro because it was worth it for the drive. So it was maybe like an hour trip, hour and a half there back, really. But me and my girlfriend went
Was
to
it a
pick
big
up,
one?
and this was a dispensary. But it was pretty chill, so she got to come in. I picked up the shit, and there was also a dab bar on the other side. And this used to be a church, so it was like a really weird setup, right? So it was weird. It was like weird. It was really weird. Anyways, so San Pedro's a weird fucking place.
Okay.
Okay.
It's for my sister.
But I'd never done a dab before. But who am I to turn down hospitality? I guess I bought enough to get a ticket, and the raffle ticket meant I could get a dab. Because this place, yeah. And so this place was pretty chill. So my girlfriend got to go to the dab bar too. And so I guess like a giant dab was like their idea of a good time for a first timer. And so
loud for
You
it.
get fucked up.
yeah,
That's
so well I'm just like I'm gonna like just go for it, right?
Yeah.
What do I
why. Might
know?
as well.
Yeah, exactly. I'm at that point in my life. This is like mid-20s. And so I hit this thing and I get two huge pulls. And because this stuff, like, it's pretty easy to take. Like, it's not like a bong where it can be really hot. Usually it's not like a joint. It's not like a bowl. Like, it's pretty mild to hit. And yet the high is, like, astronomical.
No.
Slap dab?
That's a lot.
Yeah, but
I have
I'm not gonna do it all.
Don't even do a little bit. You're gonna
Whoa.
drop it.
whoa, 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 whoa.
God, you're making me so nervous, Torin.
Let's figure this out first.
I can't handle this. There's the pressure and stress.
What are you doing? Let me
Exciting.
figure this out. Okay, I see what you're doing.
It's
Okay.
too hot.
I'm getting anxious. Please don't drop it. It's getting
Yeah.
wiggly.
Melty.
Yeah.
There we go. Now it's got like bat feet,
Will we do it?
or bat wings.
Damn, he's pro. You can tell this is his thing.
Torin, is this? Oh my god. Am I gonna get like trailer high?
Yes. That smoke alarm is broken now.
It's
It's overloaded.
Done.
You guys, we already talked about it. Elon Musk smoked weed on the podcast, so we're fine because we're not Elon Musk.
That was wild, Torin.
That was really
That
wild,
was
man.
like some
That was really
Matthews.
impressive.
That was some Matthews 10 bullshit right there.
So I get ripped, and she gets a hit after me. This is, I guess,
I'm
like,
gonna be too high in a minute.
don't worry, man. You just chill out. We got a
No
catch.
such thing
So-
as too high, sir.
I'm in my XP. We're pulling off San Pedro, and there's this like a bridge with like it feels like a 45-degree angle up. Like it feels really intense,
Okay.
right?
Vincent Thomas.
Yeah, and
Excellent.
like this stuff builds. I want to say, like he knows it's coming.
Oh,
And I'm pretty lit too.
He
I
feels
think
some
he's
way
there
right now.
too.
He's
Oh, I'm
like,
kicking it. I'm chilling.
Yeah, I'm good. But pardon me. My point is,
I think I just dabbed about a half gram.
you look good.
Your point
Like,
is?
no joke.
Is that the one that goes like
I
this?
love
Yes,
it.
this is
Exactly.
over the thing.
Exactly.
I dropped my
Hi.
phone on that fucking bridge once because I was trying to take a picture, but I had my hand out the window.
What do you think
In your
about
car.
So I'm
Fucking
bumping some
fun.
trance, and I guess like it starts to really kick in
Go.
as we're starting to elevate, and like I'd never been this high so quickly, like in such a way. That it really felt like the car was gonna take off, and with the trance going, and I was like, no, I'm not joking. Like no, like
like E.T.'s bike?
yeah, like,
Yes.
That was the big
like,
Yes.
I mean, because when you're that lit, like you believe shit that couldn't be real, and your imagination's like
We're in the
overpowered.
basket.
Like, dude, no, it was just,
Alright.
it was wonderful. Getting high is fabulous. It's a huge distressor. Just to feel that imaginative and artistic way, I think is therapeutic. I think getting high is just good for you in general. And then there's all the additive psychedelic effects if you're ingesting THC.
In moderation, every
Yeah, in moderation.
I think that
If you're a stoner and you're high all day, it's not good for you.
That is not good.
I think-
I think in small amounts,
I
I
didn't
think
even think we could see you.
That's good.
Sorry.
Like, do you know that?
I
Like,
kind of
isn't that
think that if
insane?
you're
What?
in an
So
LSD
you can
or a
literally
shroom
drink too
trip,
much water and
if you
drown
drink,
yourself.
if you do
As
some,
we are
if
78%
you smoke some
of
weed,
water. Like, isn't that crazy?
it kind of
So
mellows
that
you out
goes
of
to show
it.
you can overdo
Yes.
anything.
I don't know.
So, like, everything in moderation is a good.
I love water.
Yeah, but, like, did you not hear
I shall return.
that one lady, like,
No
that one
worries,
year
sir.
that drowned herself?
Oh,
because she
it-
drank too much water?
EDC
Did it
or
stop
something
raining?
Like that?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
It's
Kind of
nuts.
slowed down a bit.
Torin's out, guys. Go play in the rain. Timmy, you can't even see you. Come sit over here.
No, it's all right. I'm just
No,
because
because
I'm.
you're,
I'm
this
hanging
is yours.
back.
You come sit.
I'll switch.
Oh, I'm not
Go.
too worried about that. Okay,
I just
we'll
wanted
switch
Devin
around.
you to be like this here.
Okay,
I
I'm gonna
also
switch.
still
Right
wanted to
there.
cuddle with you, Katie.
It's okay.
That's okay.
I like your boots, Devin.
Thank you.
Let's
I
go
need
with
something
us.
waterproof. I took a walk.
Oh
before
my
I got
god,
started.
go to REI and get Merrell. Merrell. They have waterproof little hikey boots and they're super comfortable.
Hikey boots.
Nike boots. Is
So
that
you
good?
don't have you don't have to like break them in or anything. They're really nice. I like them a lot. I
Or
have
you
a-
can go get a pair of minimalistic lems because you can fold these up in a suitcase.
Wow.
That's a good
And they
advertisement.
have a wide toe box because that's the natural way the human foot wants to spread and grab the earth,
You're an idiot.
which is
Katie's
happening.
just making weird faces. Are you hungry? Can I call you? I'm dying. Busy.
So what's next, Devin?
I wanted to talk about. Ooh, thank you very much. Jacob.
Can we call you Dabbin?
Oh, wow.
No way. No
Fucking
way.
did
That's not
there.
gonna work for me.
Okay.
See
I
what
wanted
you
to
did
talk
there.
about urban decay and how we can work together.
Okay.
Can I
So-
market it?
I would totally be into that because I would love to make it more than just a purely artistic effort. I want it to be the jumping board for a philanthropic effort to combat homelessness in the wider SoCal area in California, if not the Western United States.
Okay, so when you say urban decay, you're saying
So I started this little artistic
Look at his
thing
Instagram.
on
That's super
Instagram
divine.
and it's a hashtag.
Because I didn't know.
Okay,
anything
so
about
on Pacifica Divine Instagram, I use that. It's just my life really, and what I see around me. And so urban decay is all the homeless of various backgrounds I see in Southern California. It's like whenever I visit Long Beach, whenever I'm in LA, and I travel throughout Orange County on my way to work when I'm out with my kid. It's in every community now, and it's blatant. And for me, I'm what I've noticed about society is that we will not willingly look at these people if we can help it.
Which is really messed up.
Or turn a blind eye.
That's what I'm trying to say. And here's my best example and how it relate back. One photo is of a mother holding a baby. She's sitting down on the sidewalk, and it's a couple frames of her with her kid.
I'm gonna look at it. I'm not being disrespectful.
No, that's fine. The thing is, all my photos are, I'm trying to just get them in my photos. I'm not trying to bring other people into the frame, really. I'm trying to just isolate them and what they're experiencing. But out of that frame, the convention center was just getting out for, I think, BlizzCon or one of those big costumed events. So there is like hundreds of people swarming down the sidewalk. And so, bless you. Out of frame is a crowd of people like melting around her place on the sidewalk. And I'm watching all this, taking my photo, and no one will look at her. There's like a physical blind spot that these people are collectively engaging in. Because she seems to represent an eyesore. And there's one particular other urban decay photo I have. I don't think I used the hashtag on, unfortunately, but it's a black and white of a man in a dress coat looking down at his cell phone to pass a homeless person, and then he then changes his entire posture and he steps out of it once he's passed this person.
I'm looking at that right now.
Yeah. And so I've seen that exact thing where people will use their cell phones or will use anything they can.
You think I show it?
Go for it. I'm sure.
Down. Twisted the other way.
Wow. Sorry, guys. This is what happens.
It's fine. I know. It's
perfect.
Boom. Can you see it?
Yeah, but I mean, that's like me catching that on camera.
Yeah, that's insane.
I've seen that so many other ways, so many other times.
Yeah.
And that was, once they passed, say, that homeless woman holding the baby, they were able to look up or look in that direction, or, because she was now out of sight.
Do you think that people do that, like, out of disrespect, or, I'm sure that there are, like, multiple motives as to why people do that. Like, sometimes I feel bad, and I can't, like, make the direct eye contact, or, like, look at them knowing that I can't do anything. So it's not because it's, like, I don't want to look at you because you're, like, other, or you're disgusting, but it's just, like, a, like, sadness in general with, like, how our government works in allowing that to happen. Because they're the kind of facilities, and they're, like I've already mentioned, like, there's a big problem with mental health in the homeless community, and they would have a place to go if we still had mental health institutions, and we don't. And, like, there are other states that have that, and they have, like, a low, and I don't know this 100%, but I feel like I might have seen the statistic somewhere. Don't quote me, I'm not about the facts, but there are, had to make that clarification, they have, like, less of a homeless problem because there are safe places for these people to be that have nowhere else to go, because they could be, like, ostracized from their families, or they could be, like, out of jail and not know. Like, there are a lot of other situations that could lead them into that. And then there are some people that live at home, like,
have you
by
heard
choice.
about exactly? So I was gonna say, like, some people told me, oh, like, do you know that, like, 70% of homeless people, like, actually want to be homeless? Like, they do not want the help.
The domestic.
And I'm like, but, like, how can you come up with that type of a percentage? Like,
by asking people, but that's not a very fair.
Right, like
okay,
like, some people have mental illness, like, don't have families, they don't, like, California is just too expensive for them to live, and they have nowhere else to go. Like,
there are other states
so
that,
many
like,
different...
ship off their homeless people to, they'll, like, buy them a plane ticket and send them somewhere else that's, like, a tropical climate that they can live all the time.
That's awesome.
So, like, but it's not awesome because they just have a huge homeless problem there. Like, I know that a lot of people are like, we don't want to have you here messing up our community or making it like ugly and not desirable for others, so they'll just buy them a
when they were
one-way
gonna put it in the
ticket.
Rams stadium, they were gonna tear down a homeless shelter and like kind of remove it so it's not nowhere near the stadium
Which
because
is
of, like-
fucking terrible.
yeah.
Where are those people supposed to go?
for the attraction, you know.
So stupid.
I didn't hear about that. That's terrible.
Yeah. I was like, wow.
But I'm happy that like you kind of bring to light that, because I think that a lot of people like think that it's like an ugly thing, and I think your photos are like beautiful in their own way, like capturing like something that's important for people to see.
It's
I
like very
think
raw.
it's important because people have a willingness in them to not look. I think because of what it might say about, well, this person is human too, just as human as me.
Yeah.
That could just as easily be me. I think it makes people very uncomfortable. They can't even stand the sight of these people. And so there's just this natural willingness not to look because of what it'll cause if they do. And so I'm kind of just bringing to light what, you know, we're allowing to happen in the first place. You know, if you're uncomfortable with how that makes you feel,
Do
then
something about
yeah,
it.
do something about it. Like if we all kind of could look at it and just decide to do something about it, we wouldn't have that problem. Like I think it's incredible, like especially at Harbor and Catella where we work. Like I think that's where the most of my photos come from.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah, but like
specific
the
area.
cops will move them at a certain point, so like they'll allow them to stay there, and then they'll like take them elsewhere, and then they just like venture back.
There's this guy that's nicknamed Punchy. He walks around
Oh.
punching the air. He just jacked the bakery tip jar on Saturday or Sunday.
Ours?
Sunday.
No way.
Yeah.
What?
On
I remember 'cause I
Sunday?
was standing there and they were like, Devin, like, you guys make sure you're watching. And then he was just standing there and kind of like looking around and then just grabbed the tips. And like Devin walked up to him, and I feel like if a manager had done that, they would have been like, get out. Like,
Yes.
anger and like force them out. But Devin like went up and just kind of like, you touched him. I think you like put
I
your
got
hand on
real
his
close.
arm
I
and
got
you
real
were
close.
just like, but calmly speaking to him, like,
Yeah.
did you just take something? And he was like, very like, no. And you were like, I saw you. Can you please, like, you weren't
me back
rude,
the money.
you weren't like super accusatory. And I feel like that was like a better way to approach it rather than like give him this anger and then have him run off and like not know that like people are seeing you and what you do.
I know that I probably don't have any authority to even approach him.
Well, no.
Honestly,
True,
for
yeah.
one
Through
thing.
our
You
work,
could have
but-
gotten fired for that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so-
faculty
so-
handbook, I'm sure.
Which is bullshit, because
For
why
sure.
can't we handle people? You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that the way that he did it was disrespectful, but I think that they do it just to
You haven't been
protect us.
trained to handle people, Morgan.
You're right.
Right.
You're right.
There wasn't a 5-day class on this.
Right.
You know, I think, but I mean, I've been asked to do a lot and sent out to do manager stuff
Yeah.
for years at the same time.
I think you handled that well. But, I mean, that was really messed up for him to do. On the same front. Like,
Yeah.
He circles our Garden Walk area continuously all day. That's what he does.
Because he has nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Let's be fit, honestly.
You're right.
Like
He
those
has the
legs,
best
though?
calves.
Like, Every day's leg day.
Right.
So there's that's it.
Would you?
What'd you say?
Just walk around.
Well, I think my goal would be to like really dive in and get some of them. Like, you really have to watch out because I think the ones that you get used to talking to, like you begin to see the cracks in their stories, the lies, the contradictions, and some of them are kind of genuine. And you kind of have to discern which ones are completely mental,
Yeah.
who's lying. There is also something happens when you live on the streets. You kind of you no longer seem to understand space between other people,
Yeah.
and so they'll get
The bubble was broken. all the time.
exactly. And so interactions are different in that way too, and they don't see any problem with it.
So you take your daughter around to like, not people watch, but like to see that and make her acknowledge.
Like as a dad, like how do you explain stuff like that?
Well,
Like,
we're just out,
does she
and
ask
I
you
capture a lot
questions?
of these photos while we're out because this is in public spaces. Other people want to just
Can
drag their kids
control
past it and control them. They don't want to, I mean, my parents try to just drag me past it and not explain it.
Okay.
You have to.
explained,
My dad,
yeah.
I remember vividly, like when my little brother was like in the worst stage of his life, like always, he's a dick. But he was like being really rude to my parents, and he was just like, "I'm just gonna leave. I'm moving out." My parents were like, "Where are you gonna go?" He was like, "I'll live on the streets." And so my dad was like, "Okay, you want to live on the streets? You think you can live on the streets, Spencer? Let me show you what that's like." So he took me and my little brother, and he took us downtown LA to look at
Skid Row?
Skid Row. And it wasn't like this scary moment, but he was just like, do you think that these people enjoy living here like this, where they have to line up at this time and a very small fraction of all of these people are going to get a meal tonight? Like, he opened our eyes to seeing that, like, they're there.
Oh yeah.
And like, I've always tried to like go out of my way to be kind to people that are living on the street, because I understand like that's not an easy thing. Like, you don't know where your meals are coming from, you don't know like if you're going to be warm or have a shelter. And like, for a while I would keep like a box of trail mix in my car, and I would like give that to them rather than $1, because you don't know what they're going to spend it on. And I learned like a very hard lesson as a kid, because I told my mom, I was like, I just got my allowance money and I wanted to give this old man like my money. She was like, okay. And she's like, wouldn't you rather buy him a meal? And I was like, no, I want to give him my money so he can buy what he wants. And like later on that day, because we were going to breakfast, he was walking around with like a bottle of alcohol in his hand, like a rum Whittier. And like my mom was like, do you think that maybe he used that to buy that alcohol? And I was just like, but why would he do that? Like, he looked like he was, like, I was so young, and I was like, but he looked like he was hungry. And like, that's where it also becomes hard, because it's like, you don't know where they're going to be spending what you give to them.
Yes.
So it's better to like give them food, or like, but sometimes people are like, I don't want your fucking leftovers.
Dude,
and that hurts.
In Maryland,
You're like, I'm doing something to like try to be helpful.
yeah.
And like, they don't want your handout as what they see it as. And like, that sucks for people that are like, well, I was just trying to genuinely help.
So in Maryland, I worked at this place. It was like my first job when I first moved there and stuff. And it was kind of like a cheesecake factory, but they did like team service. So like, you weren't responsible for like your whole, like a section. You're responsible for the whole row. So like, you couldn't tell your name, anything. Like, it was like a weird like zigzag, right? So, but it reminded me of like the essence of cheesecake. And so I finally got a job there, whatever. And like, before that, dude, okay, so why I'm saying this is because like, you had to dress like properly. So we had to get our shit like super starched. Like, if it wasn't starched, like, so I'd go to the cleaners every single day and like have 3 different uniforms. I couldn't wear a uniform until I walked in and then changed. Like, that's how crazy it was, like militant. So I was like, you know what? Like, it taught me to be like a better person. So I was going to the cleaners, and I hadn't got my first paycheck yet. And I kept seeing like this homeless man outside, like right by the, you know, it's a McDonald's and a cleaners. So I was like, dude, I'm gonna use like the last $2 on my debit card to buy him like some food. So I walk over to him and I'm like, hey, like, you know, I bought you like a chicken sandwich and like a hamburger if you're hungry. He was like, get that shit out of my face. He was like, I don't want that shit. I was like, you motherfucker. I was like, okay, like, you're out here every fucking day asking people for money, but you don't want my fucking, like, you don't even know that I spent like the last of my money on, you know, like, trying to help you. And it's hard because I'm like, does he want drugs? Like, you know, like,
Yeah, you.
I
don't
come
wanna
from a
think the
drug
worst,
family, and like, that's the thing that comes to my mind. I'm like, well, fuck, like, that's what we're gonna spend it on. But instead, like your family said, like, what about a meal? But it sucks, like, when they turn that down, and it's like, you can't help but to think like categorize it as like, that's all they want.
Yeah.
Like, drug money. So it's hard. It's like a hard
So at
balance.
that point, I mean, is it? I mean, clearly, some people have some really extreme views on this. You know, I think a lot of people think you need to like pull yourself up by your bootstraps and stuff if you're on the streets, because you put yourself there, and so they have a really, you know, I think shitty view of looking at the whole problem, because then they don't want to acknowledge it, or if they do, they want to say that those people, you know, they ended up there for a reason. You know, that's really how a lot of people see it. I think it's part of society's role to kind of take care of society. And so I think that, you know, when people are at that point, really what they need is help.
Yeah.
You know, and there's a variety of types, I think, that end up on the street. So I think there's a variety of help that could be given to them, alleviate the problem. I would see in a campaign, political or social, whatever, to eradicate homelessness. I think that's possible. You know, put people to work. I think there could be a burgeoning industry in psychic health. I think everyone is walking around with psychic damage all the time, exhaustion from living.
So you were saying putting people to work.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So I had a friend, and I don't know if he is still going with this idea that he had come up with, or if he just couldn't like find the means or the people to help to do it. But he was going to call it Ribbon, and it was in Austin, Texas, and he like found this group of homeless people, and he would go and he'd get a coffee with them and just talk to them every day to find out. And a lot of the people that he was talking to, like, throughout this whole experience, they were like, well, I just can't find work, so I don't have the income to get me off of the street. So he was like, how can I help fix this? And he thought of, you know, there are menial jobs that, like, people don't want to do. Like, they think that they're above it, like being a janitor or being someone who picks up, you know, trash or shit or, like, whatever the situation is. There are jobs that people don't want to do because they think that they're above it. But here's a group of people who could work to make wages to get themselves off the street and get the help that they need. So his plan was to, like, get a, like, apartment complex and invest in that, and then have people work. Like, they would have big fairs, clean up after fairs, pick up trash after this, and you would get tokens, not money, tokens that you could only be spent at this apartment complex. So a certain amount of tokens would help them get a place to stay for a day or a week or a month, and they would, like, learn that working hard puts you somewhere safe and warm. And it would have, like, a soup kitchen, and they can get meals, but it would be like a work to get kind of thing.
Really
Not like
getting
a-
off your feet.
Yeah, like, to help people get conditioned to, okay, if you work hard, then you can have these things, and things can be nice. And I don't know how everything worked out with that idea, but I thought that it was kind of genius to be like, okay, well, there are things that they can do, and it's for the people who are willing to do it to get the help they need. And he would have all the services on that facility. So I thought that was a cool idea. I don't know if you think that something like that would work, but
I think so. I think that there's a whole line of institutes that could be created in society to, I think, first receive and heal people after kind of analyzing their condition, and then kind of a halfway house like that back in an urban setting where reconditioned people that have been, you know, healed to some extent can be kind of put back in society. They can
Yeah.
work for a token system, you know, so they don't have all, I think, the temptation of having hard money, because I think money is very dangerous.
oh yeah,
Money
it's
is liquid
corruption,
power. Yeah,
for sure.
it's very dangerous.
I turn into an asshole when I have money. Hate it. Matt, you're really silent. What's going on with you?
What I want to kind
Your
of
ear is
join,
literally to this camera.
it's he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we get it.
Like, I want to go down to Skid Row. Like, I knew someone who had to stay there. What's that?
Let's get skinny.
All right, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
I'm just
I've lived in LA, but I've only driven past it, really. I've never really gone in. You're good. Don't worry about it. Anyways, Dave Edbow is someone who feels pretty passionate about the same subject,
Uh-huh.
and he wants to go with me and take a look himself. He wants to be, you're good, in some way involved in whatever project we're doing.
Let's do it.
Yeah. You know, I mean, both as personalities, I think, to kind of, like, engage people on the street,
Mm-hmm.
and we'd like you to photo document.
Mhm.
Would you be down for something like that?
Absolutely.
All right. I'd go broad daylight. I think that's safe.
I'm talking to you either way.
All right, cool.
What photos where?
Skid Row,
You mean with your camera lens?
Los Angeles.
We'll be safe.
Just like
That's what
snack
we should
break,
be.
so I can
We
stop
should be.
talking so much. So I have a problem. Just never
We should
shut up.
Lady in the Tramp, one of those damn things.
Oh, you mean with the dogs and the spaghetti? Yeah.
I meant with, like,
Can you do a live action of
Yeah.
that?
No,
I don't think so.
thinking. That was better last time. We
Matthew's
put it
in a
in our mouth.
relationship. I know.
That's good for you, man.
What? Being in a relationship or eating ham?
Same
Both.
Isn't it the
Same
same thing?
thing. Doesn't
Then we do like a protein ball or some crackers or some
Crackers.
some
So what's up
guava
with the
cheese.
bread? Oh, doesn't we get a guava cheese?
Guava cheese?
So good.
I would love
So good.
something, yeah, definitely.
I looked at the guava cheese and I was like, oh, it looks like a guava cheese.
Do you want
I just
Meat or
think
guava
of
cheese?
My
no.
dad is dough.
Less
Daddy.
sugar.
Honestly, I think that was the base stab I ever taken. I'm trying to really fucking.
You just like, well, I can. Do you want a protein ball?
What is that, Torin?
I don't
Protein
know.
ball's probably better for me.
Yeah. Would you
I
like a
can see
carrot
that.
cake one or a peanut butter chocolate one?
Oh, carrot
You
cake.
guys,
I
I
was
bought
looking at the
peanut
carrot
butter
cake
chocolate
at the
bears
case
for my niece's
a lot
fundraiser
lately.
and fudge, so I'll
So
bring
they're
it.
kind of smushier because
Okay.
they have more
Next
honey
time.
because they needed to
There's
bind
so much
all
of
the
it.
stuff together. And if they're totally not good, then like you can tell me. Are you allergic to anything?
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Like, there's something like this at Whole Foods.
It's like an Aussie bite.
No, that was what I'm saying, but like, there's a product very much like that. These are dang. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Super nice.
Found it on Pinterest.
Is that a drumstick?
No, it's chicken croquette.
Oh.
What's your
Chicken croquette. It's like potato.
Oh, right. This is so good. See, the West is the best. Special. That's real life, dude. We're not editing that shit
I
out.
got one more. Come on.
What are they doing in Spanish?
They got
Where they go like
in Star Trek. They've got Beatles snuff.
salud,
You
That
can
sounds good.
and then-
dinero.
Clean
That's
your
okay.
sinuses.
I need some of that right now.
YouTube it.
I'm not gonna look that up on the internet.
Yeah, there's
You're
some
not going
shit
to?
that's like
Well, then
it's so simple.
live
It's
in
too bad it's
mystery.
sci-fi.
Live in mystery.
I know, right?
You're gonna live in mystery.
Science fiction is the greatest fantasy.
You know what? If you guys go through with this project, there's another thing that I want you to do. So, my little brother got in a car accident recently, and
He drives?
no, his friend was driving, but
Oh, I was gonna say he
He's in
was
the front
11 the
passenger
last
seat.
time I saw him. What the fuck?
and the car flipped, all the airbags went off, and they're all like
Wow.
16 years old, and they like couldn't get out of the car. And Spencer saw it smoking, and he was like, "There's fuel. We're smoking. We're gonna fucking blow up. We gotta get the shit out of here." And he was trying to break the window, and he couldn't. And finally, like, grabbed his friend's hydro flask and busted open the front windshield. A homeless man ran over with rocks and broke open the windows and helped all of the boys out of the car. There were 5 of them. And my brother's been looking for him to go and buy him a meal and say thank you, because Spencer was like, that man, like, helped save our lives. Because one of his friends was, like, bleeding and all messed up, and Spencer's hands were all bloody from the glass, and, like, this guy didn't have to help. But he was one man who's helped. He was, like, the first person to help out. And then only one other lady stopped. And, like, thank God she was an EMT that was off duty. But, like, no one else would stop to help these boys. It was 7 o'clock at night. Plenty of people were driving on the 5 in Firestone.
On the 5?
On the 5.
Oh, wow.
The on-ramp to the 5.
That's
and these
insane.
are 16-year-old boys covered in blood. This car is flipped. There's glass everywhere. They didn't hit anyone else. It was just the car got out of control.
Wow.
No one else would stop. But, like, here's a fucking society that thinks that, like, homeless people are pieces of shit, yet he went out of his way to help these kids, and no one else did.
Right.
Everyone else was too busy with their fucking schedules to, like, stop and help them out. And, like, my brother's just been looking. And so I think, like, it was our mission to, like, help find him, to, like, thank him. Because he didn't have to do any of that. And, like, my little brother was just, like, so angry at everyone else for not helping. But he was like, that man fucking saved us. And, like, he as fast as he got there to help out, like, that was as quick as he went. And so, like,
Wow.
no one, like, was able to really thank him. But I think that would be kind of a cool thing to, like, find him again, you know?
Yeah.
I don't want to make it sound like I'm trying to clear them out of society. I'm trying to help even those that are trying to deny that they need help. And even though you might deny it, you do need it,
Everyone does.
right? And so what I'm trying to do is I'm offering this big way to help this segment of society that absolutely needs help and won't get it on their own. They just won't be willing to or able to. And so that's what I'm arguing for. I want to blow this up enough with what our project that we could get it highlighted enough to move it onwards from there. And honestly, for all the money this state blows on everything it does, like, we should be able to afford, because I mean, imagine the facilities and jobs that could go into treating large groups of people. Because I mean, we could then pull these people out of the cities. And you might think, well, like, to take them away, like, to prison? No, nothing like that at all. I wouldn't advocate that at all. Honestly, I'd advocate something like something out of the way in a very natural setting, so it's more like, an Eden for them,
Like a rehabilitation.
Yeah, like a huge rehabilitation
If
facility.
they, like, lived off of the land, like not a commune. What do you call those?
Well, essentially, kind of would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where it's like they're working to earn their keep and to make their living for themselves. Where, like,
Yeah.
everyone has a job. Then that's how you,
A
like,
role,
get. Yeah.
according to their ability.
And the social stature.
Well, that's how it would be
You
in the
know,
end of
it's like
days.
to live your fucking life all the time.
But that's my thing, is that we put them out to pasture, so to speak, where
That sounds like you're killing them.
I'm not in this case. They're just living, working if they can in the environment around them in a facility where there are doctors and orderlies.
Wouldn't those doctors and
Licensed.
orderlies have to get paid and this and that and another thing where
Exactly.
like you would have to have a doctor that was like
And people
didn't
would
have
This
his
would
head up his
be-
ass enough to help.
have to
Philanthropic
be willing
and
to
state
help
funded.
themselves, though. Like,
Because the state could help get involved to help facilitate moving these people out of the communities and into a place where they'll get real help from professionals. They'll have a place to stay, get fed, their diet will get fixed. Like, I think that healing the body is a big part of healing the mind. Because we mostly eat a garbage diet.
Because I just
I wanna
had
argue.
5
Oh yeah,
hamburger
I want
cuts.
to eat that.
But
Have some more
it's
bread.
fine.
yeah, the
Can I have
lava.
some
I-
bread?
I'm not
I
against
help
complex
you.
carbohydrates.
Listen,
You gotta
potatoes.
save
It's a
one
free
for the
world,
Potatoes
and
and bread. are the
I
best.
just think you should be conscious of what you're
Well,
eating.
I don't want to be. He
Can I have another one of
deserves
those
one.
things, by the way?
Who?
Yeah, you liked
My
it.
boyfriend.
Oh, it was so good,
Oh my
Morgan.
God, hey,
Oh my
That
god.
was
Everything.
delicious.
It
Oh,
was
you have
the
enough?
best
Yeah.
ball I put in
Two,
my mouth.
and I have one.
Does he
so
deserve
we're
one?
fine.
He,
If that napkin is
not
dry,
all the
put it
time.
down on your lap.
Not all the time.
Close.
Okay,
He's a
so
brat.
Is
Devin,
it Italian or?
I actually no, it's
Can I try one of those?
Oh, that's your hair.
One of
Those-
these?
Yeah, those look great. They look kind of like a Cliff Bar.
It kind of is. So all it is
Oh, no, it
is
smells great. I've had one of these.
peanut butter, honey, ground flaxseed, chia seeds, toasted coconut, oats,
Ooh,
and then
cheese
whatever
are good.
add-ins you want to add.
Cheese are good for you.
So
I definitely
Like, I
want
wouldn't-
your
wouldn't like tell you to eat a lot of them because flax seeds make you poop. So like unless you like keep it irregular, you know, like do what you gotta do.
I'm all
Do
for
you,
it.
boo?
But like it's so good, right?
Do you,
And then
boo?
it so like the small
There's
mixture
even
that I do,
chocolate
it
in
makes
there.
like that one's chocolate peanut butter. So like the small mixture that you make makes like almost one of them made 13. It was really hard to portion the balls.
Was it though?
like
Was
make
it
them
though?
small.
This is
Um,
like the thing in that old ass movie where you sent it. That you're like, hey, you want to try my wad? It's the greatest thing ever.
That laugh needs to
Wonderful.
stop.
It's every incredible flavor balled into one.
Yeah.
You want my wad? Remember? No, it's not.
Remember?
Remember?
No, but they're really good and they're like kind of healthy and they make like a dozen and so they're a healthier alternative to cookies. I feel like I'm rocking this trailer.
You are Martha
You
Stewart
cook it?
right now.
If,
Honestly.
if the trailers
You
are
fucking
rocking,
are.
don't come a knocking.
Have you tried cooking it like a cookie?
No, because everything's already cooked in there. Like all of the separate things.
We're just mixing it in the bowl.
All of the
nothing's
separate
cooking,
things?
right?
Right,
all
you
the
just mix it in a
ingredients?
bowl and then you put
I've
it.
been like baking it like that.
No, I think that would make it bad.
Bacon,
But I
yeah.
did
Bacon
look
is
up
paleo.
cookies made with quinoa, and you can do that. So I think my
Mm.
next thing is going to be baking quinoa cookies.
Wouldn't that be a weird
I bet
texture?
if
to
you
it?
Probably, but here's the issue.
It's like a rice
little
cookie,
bit of
so it's
flour
not
and
that
Or
bad.
like
egg.
from a Whole Foods
Okay.
brand. Yeah,
See?
they're real.
They're
I
good?
just
Yeah, they're fine.
have a thing with like, if I'm trying to be healthy, I'm always going to want like bread and sweets. Like those are my two vices. Like I could stop drinking alcohol for a very long period
Cheese.
of time. Oh well, like cheese is keto, so it's fine.
Cheese is.
Cheese is fine. So it's like
Cheese
I'm
is
trying to
always
like cut out the bad things. Like I don't eat like white rice. I
Sugars
don't
and-
eat bread,
Starches, yeah.
except for right now when I eat 5 ham croquettes and
Fine.
Portos.
It's fine.
It's a cheat day, like every other day has been this year. What's up, 2019?
Mm.
Wait, we said no cheat days. So, where is this hair coming from?
All off my head. I keep putting them on the when you're not looking.
Are you serious?
No,
Why, I was
I'm
like, why are you
not
shedding
serious.
these long white hairs? We're gonna need to talk about this.
Alright,
The
might-
ginger hair.
They
Um,
might be mine.
so yeah, I'm just trying to learn new ways to like cook with stuff that isn't like normally bad for you. So that's why I made like that cauliflower rice, and I like making cauliflower mashed potatoes.
Have you had cauliflower pizza?
Yes, I have, and it's
Is it good?
delicious.
Because it looks
Pretty
really
good.
good.
Yeah.
I've heard
Yeah,
things
I'm down
about
for that.
this. Christian, the front desker, was talking up about, I think, pyology.
They do, yeah.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
have a
they do.
crust, and it's
Love
very
pie.
delicious.
It's good. Is this the thing?
Yeah, I
I
had
heard
it there.
CPK
and I
has a
really
good one
liked
too.
Like
As well as the
buffalo.
buffalo.
Oprah has a
You
good
can
one.
like
Cauliflower
put on
pizza.
whatever stuff you want
She has
onto it, and
frozen
it's just
cauliflower
healthier
crust pizzas.
than like bread.
You get a pizza. You get a pizza.
Cheese
They
meat could make it
cauliflower
keto.
bread?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do that. Shit.
Sure. You can
Shit,
actually
shit.
get the crust at Trader Joe's, but you just have to find a way to
Oh,
cook it nicely.
It would
Because
probably
one
be
time,
so good
I
if you
put
were
it
like
on there
trying
and
to
it was
make
like
it though.
and it fell through
what?
my fucking. I didn't know if I needed to put it on a pan. I probably should have Googled it before. I'm not the
Yeah.
best. Like, it sounds like I know how to cook things, but like,
best.
I
I'm not the best.
literally, like,
But
I rolled ingredients and I made them into balls, and I'm like, yeah, and then a fucking cookie. Like,
I
a
know
fucking
the fuck I'm
5-year-old could do
doing.
that, okay? Like, play with some Play-Doh, motherfucker.
I'm just
and
gonna
then make
say
these
Play-Doh.
cookies. But, like, anything that you can throw into one pot and cook and it'll be a meal, I know how to do that. My ex gave me
Nice.
shit because he said, all you know how to cook is dips. And I said, well, I can't argue with you there. But I like cheese and I like to melt it. So
what's
that?
That's fucking funny.
Yeah,
He's
fucking
gonna
piece
make
of
it.
shit.
stupid
Yeah,
as
and they were
fuck.
good. Like, I made buffalo chicken dip. I make this really good.
Buffalo, I make a good buffalo chicken dip too.
They're
I
They're
feel
delicious.
you.
I do
Because
like a
I've-
taco
I've
dip.
had, like,
Ooh,
four
like the
bags of
melted,
chips.
like
But you can-
chili and like cream cheese.
It could be like
dip.
1,000
Keep on going.
different things. Devin, are you okay?
I'm great. This is too good.
I just saying.
See lit?
Like, you can put so many
Yeah.
things
We're
in dip.
dipping right
Like,
now.
you can dip it with bread.
We're
you can dip
fucking
other
dipping.
cheeses
I
in
thought
a
it started
dip.
to
You
come
can dip
down a bit.
apples.
Can we just talk about like sourdough
Carrots?
bread with
You
dips?
can dip
Can we
other
just
Yeah.
talk
cheeses
about
in
that?
it.
Yeah, haven't you had cheese fondue?
Good.
We're like, this
Yes,
is melted.
I have had cheese fondue.
Yeah, it's like, this is melted Gouda, and you're going to take this piece of Swiss and you're going to dip it into the Gouda.
Boom.
Double
Gouda
cheese.
Swiss. Gouda Swiss.
It's like the cheese dip.
Boom.
I don't know. It's
Cheese pairing.
worthwhile.
Have you tried it?
No.
I feel like cheese is everything in life.
No, it is.
You know who has the best cheese aisle
Brie
aside
cheese?
from Whole Foods is Trader Joe's. I've gotten lost in there.
I like Whole Foods better.
Me too.
They have a good deal.
I've never been to Whole Foods. I can't be rude. Actually, it's a lie. I had their ready-to-eat food, and that was delicious, but it also cost me a lot
Does
of
anyone
dollars.
remember fucking Fresh and Easy?
Yeah.
That's the
Yes,
Thank
they-
you.
that was the best.
The OG,
Whatever
and they took
happened to
it
those?
away, and now it's
Well, as I
stupid,
understand it, they
like-
were a British brand
Yeah,
that
they
had
were
jumped
British.
ship over to
Oh.
America, but they didn't catch on.
They used to call it Fresh
They
and
didn't do enough
Sleazy.
demographic research.
Well, no, they worked.
It's all about
Okay,
marketing.
Oh, and they
You know where
put
they
one in
worked out?
Baker too. No.
around
like
high-end
they had
communities because
everything
the one
I
at
ever
Signal
wanted.
Hill and Long Beach was popping like nonstop.
They were
It's
amazing.
like all about where you are.
Yeah.
Because there's one like a block from here, and it was never got
Nice,
traffic.
nice, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to find the right people
Dude,
that are
fresh
going.
and sleazy, so
Yeah.
good.
Like-
Can you just talk
Love
about the
that.
fact that
Been
fucking
cheaper
Trader
for
Joe's
not
never does
having
good
any
research
influence,
about where
right?
they open their places because
What
their
you mean?
fucking parking lots are janky as
Oh, they're
shit.
parking lots. So
Like, they could be like, that's a beautiful storefront. We're going to put it right there because there's only going to be 6
boom.
parking spots.
The one
and
in,
2
like,
of them are
downtown Long
occupied
Beach?
by too many shopping carts.
I know what you're
So have
talking
fun
about.
trying to find a fucking parking
On
spot.
PCH, right?
I can't handle
That
it.
one sucks.
And I'm done with my Trader Joe's parking spot.
Anyways.
You mean in Long Beach? Is that
Speaking
one?
of which, I've had a Trader Joe's card in my wallet.
Like a gift card?
Oh, wow.
But I live forever
You just
away
lit
from
Morgan's
my.
fire.
from
Oh my
Trader
god,
Joe's.
just give it to me.
Gift
It's
card?
Oh,
Do you know how much cheese you can buy with that?
How much cheese?
Like $100 worth.
To make a
If it
dip?
had $100 on it. Yeah, to make a dip, Torin. They also have lovely
make a
houses there.
dip store. You're ridiculous. And I love you so much. Make a dip, Torin.
Fucking dip.
I'm gonna come up to you at work. Make a dip.
That's gonna
Okay.
be a new insult to people.
It is. Just go fucking make a dip, okay?
Guys, speaking of work, I just don't want to go back. I hope you're listening.
Let's
Torin.
talk about how they at least gave you a fucking phone call today that you were off the fucking patio
They
instead of
did call
making you
me.
drive. They did. I know. I'm saying.
It was,
Oh, they didn't call you?
no, they left me a voicemail.
They called you. That's
Wow,
calling
what a
you.
dick move.
They didn't
My
call
mom,
you?
No, they made me go to work
locked
for
the front
30
door.
minutes,
I
wait,
hope you have a key.
and then be like, oh, you can go home. They made us all wait
I'm gonna
for
end up
30
going
minutes.
home.
Who
Frank
is that
was
I'm
like,
gonna end up going home and be
Frank,
like, I
me,
have a house key. And I'll have to climb
Wendy,
through the doggy door.
Ivan,
Oh god.
Those are the other party
Jaime. Yeah, everyone was like on the patio or whatever.
What?
We were like, they made us come
They
in.
called Morgan and I off.
Dude,
Oh,
I
you were supposed to
called.
come tonight?
Morgan.
Christian called me
Fucking-
and he was like, you don't have to come in. I was like, Christian, are you really doing this to me today? And he's like, do you have a problem with that? I was like, nope, thanks, bye. And I hung up
And
on
then-
him.
Hold on,
And I hung up on him and I was like, yep.
Speakerphone.
You
Let me
just
die
deleted it.
Go.
How do you fucking do it?
Well, it's your
No,
dick.
thanks, bye.
I'm a-
It was the best.
He really sounded convincing.
Burger Nutrition, just calling to confirm that you can go ahead and take the night off from me. Torin.
Yeah. How nice was that? 9 seconds. Enjoy your night.
Fuck
He
that.
called at like 2 p.m.
Nice.
Yep.
And
Good
I was
call.
just like,
Good call.
Fuck that.
I have all the time. Like I
I
had
left
just
my
made
nephew's
my
birthday
snack.
party to go.
Christian's the best,
It was
and he knows
raining
everyone
already.
hates
That's
it.
why
And I
you're
called him and I
Oh.
said, hey, I called the front desk and I was like, hey, it's already raining.
I called it 8:30.
There's a 30%
and they're like,
chance
"We don't know
it's
yet."
already raining. And I'm fucking on the way to work.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, Frank said that he's going to wait and keep everyone. Oh, no, she didn't even tell me that. I had to wait until I got there. Met Wendy in the parking lot. We were like, what the fuck? We're like 5 minutes late. They're like, oh, you just have to wait until 6. Sure as shit. Wait until 6. Oh, you can go home now.
Yeah. Wasted my time.
Like, what
You know
the fuck? I
How
left
about
my
you
nephew's
buy me
birthday
a
party.
steak for my troubles?
And no,
Right.
yeah.
Negotiate.
Nobody
like that.
said, like, oh, thank you for coming, blah, blah, blah. Nothing.
You can't even
You're
take
just
them
like,
to small
boom.
claims court over it because it's still works for them.
Yeah.
You can't go to small
But
claims
it's just
court
so
if you work
fucked
for
up.
the company. If you're suing them, you can't work for them.
I read something that in the state of California, if you're trying to represent yourself, you can't be suing someone who you still work for because then it's a conflict of interest.
That
Listen, I
makes
can
sense,
sue the
though.
Cheesecake Factory for
I mean,
a lot
technically.
of bullshit.
In the
You can
technical
take it to not
aspect.
small claims
Oh, yeah,
court and have a
there's
lawyer
something
represent
in
you,
the
but a
chat
lawyer's
money.
not allowed to
I got a
represent
thing
you in
in the
small
mail
claims court,
saying
so
there
you
was
can't
another
just like,
lawsuit that I'm going to get money
Yeah,
for.
it's
It's
true.
crazy.
Yeah, didn't
I
you
don't
get that
know
one?
what I got money for one, and then I got a second one.
We just keep getting money from the Cheesecake Factory because they fuck up at
because
life.
all the rich people in San Diego love to fucking sue. That's like the third fucking
I think that maybe
lawsuit
Sorry.
out of the
Sorry,
San Diego
no.
cheesecakes.
Yeah, it's nuts.
That shit.
Well, there's a lot of
No, no,
shitty
no.
managers representing the company.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the one who grabbed one of the coworkers when he was like, "Hey, wrong food," and she was like, "No thanks," and went to walk and he grabbed her by the arm and it was all on fucking camera. She sued the company and got $150,000 and he got fired.
Who?
The GM of the Irvine company. Don't quote me on this. I don't know what that.
Did she get to keep her job?
I don't know.
Of the Irvine
I heard that
cheesecake?
she did. Yes.
Irvine Cheesecake.
Yeah.
Yeah, she got to keep the job.
150K.
That's
and
amazing.
Yeah, and I'd be like,
Fuck you, I'll
That's
make
a
it
good
rain.
company.
Hell
You
yeah.
don't,
That's a
you
really
don't.
good
I don't like people
company.
getting near me.
Like,
how much
you don't
you
touch people. That's
Uh-huh.
it. Yeah.
How
well,
much
then
you think
after
it's
that
in
man was
taxes?
fired, then they all like corporate had to do like a whole meeting with our general managers, not that just the general managers, all the managers, and told them there's an appropriate distance to stand from the workers. There's a way that you may greet them. They're not allowed to hug coworkers. They're not allowed to, like, be around if anything like of sexual nature or personal nature is going on because they're supposed to stay out of people's personal business. And then the funniest one that I thought was fucking hilarious is that they're not allowed to fist bump. Like you're only allowed to handshake.
Like I do with my niece.
Yeah, like
Like,
because just in case, someone's fragile little fucking hand
That's insane.
is like,
So it's
ow!
on camera.
Or
they're
like,
like
he punched my
punching
fucking hand
someone.
and now I have a broken
my
metatarsal
That's
Uh,
insane.
and phalange, sorry. 'cause
That-
it's on
I was
your
gonna say
hand,
that.
and, like, and yeah, he fucking stepped on my foot. Yeah, so now they can't fist bump you. So I purposefully go up to our manager and like,
fisting at
what's
the cheesecake.
up? Because I think
No
it's fucking stupid.
That is stupid.
Like, because one person decided to be like, rightfully so, she was inappropriately
what?
grabbed by her general manager. But like, why are we're
Is that
fucking pussifying our work group by being like, oh,
Okay, first of all,
Is that anything?
no food is that important to run for that guy trying to grab that girl.
No.
I think you just had problems.
Sorry, your
But-
fucking
No, I wanna
tomato
say
basil
that's
pasta
That's
didn't come
probably an
out.
example
You
of the same issue we see with managers that we've worked with, where it's someone that, for whatever reason, cannot compel an employee to do something for them, and that person should just be able to accept that, right?
I mean, are we talking about a certain lady manager?
I think a lot of people we've all worked with, but yeah, that's one example. Yeah,
We all
I think
know.
Wesley's another example of that same
She's
type.
still
Fucking
there.
prick! I
And
hate
Sean
Wesley.
before both of them.
I like Sean.
Sean was the
Yeah,
best.
if I may,
He
I'll make a
played
point right
softball,
now.
Sean.
Each of these problem managers I've mentioned is the same type in that they use a favorite system.
Oh,
Okay, they have favorites of their own. Those people, when they're there and after they're gone, speak a little more highly and forgiving of these people because they were the favorites of these people. But when that happens, that puts everyone else in the doghouse, and it's not fair for people who are just there doing their job.
That's fair.
It's true.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm just
Like
I'm a
these people
favorite,
had
so-
really great, wonderful personalities. I don't deny that. I was kind of cool with Maria because we had a similar backstory, single parents, working really fucking hard.
Yeah.
But she had like shit in her own life that wasn't going right, and that explained everything to do with how she acted at work.
Oh, so you were saying that like they bring in their personal
She brings
shit,
home
they
to
can't-
work,
They
yeah.
can't distance it. No, that's
Yeah.
totally fair.
And she probably does the same thing back, like brings like
No, she
work to
if she's
home,
having a
you know?
bad
Like,
day,
that's why
she
her life's
took it out on
miserable.
us. And if she was really, really happy, you'd be like, I'm gonna ask any favor that I possibly can today.
Is she
Because
still
we
there?
don't know.
No,
But like same thing with
Yeah.
Sean, if he was having a
Oh,
bad
she,
day,
like,
it like
quit.
it
she
showed.
took it out on us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
our managers
bullshit.
now are really awesome.
Got
I
transferred
think.
to Brea, I think.
No, because Wesley's a piece of shit,
Well,
and I will
or
stand
maybe-
next to that. until
I'm
the
very
fucking-
biased when it
He's
comes
a
to
human
Wesley. He
being.
hasn't done anything to me.
Sure.
To me,
Oh, he's
anything.
not a piece of shit, Morgan. He's a human being. You're right, but he's
Oh, yeah,
a human
Wesley's
being
okay.
that is shitty. To me personally, very like demeaning in the way that he speaks to me.
Although I've heard
belittling.
multiple same opinions in that regard.
Just wait until
I've
like I don't know. I feel like I have a strong personality, so when like there's another person that's just like I'm also a strong personality, so I don't want to butt heads with you, or I find that to be intimidating,
Don't
or
wanna
I
fist
want to
bump
like
you.
I want to take you from here to put you down here. Like I want to knock you down off your little fucking like
Pedestal.
I don't even live on a pedestal. Like
No,
I
but
have
I
my
mean, like,
feet like on the
in
floor and I'm
theory.
grounded, but like I just like I don't
What
know.
I've
I try to
noticed-
lead, and he honestly
Mm.
fucking shits me down like he shits me down. He shoots me down all the time about anything, and
Yeah.
like called me out on not food running when I food run when I can.
I know.
I have had
Fuck that.
multiple wrist surgeries since working for the company, and I don't want to hurt myself more. It's not worth the $3,000 that I spent to have the surgery, get pushed to come back to work too soon, fucking up my surgery, and then not being able to repair the damage anymore. Like, I don't
Yeah.
think that it's worth it for me to do that. And then they'll argue, well, why can you carry heavy plates and serve tables, but you can't run out of plate? Because those people that I'm carrying those plates for and the people that I'm taking drinks to, they're paying my bills more than a food run shift will give me. I tip out the food runners extra because I know that they're doing more for me because I'm not. But like, don't tell me that I can't do either job when I know that like one of them is going to pay my bills and give me enough money to survive rather than being a food runner. That's going to give you $50 in your pocket after an 8-hour shift.
True.
Like, so him and I butt heads on that a lot because he would keep yelling at me, and I was like, I have a medical note that dismisses me from this, so you cannot speak to me like that. Medical note my ass, I'm asking you to food run. Okay.
That's over the line.
Like, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you could take that up with our general manager then. Like, I don't need to explain myself to anyone. If there's a reason as to why I need to do a certain thing and I have it, not an excuse, but like a medical excuse, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't question it. Same thing with your situation. You had a medical note, you can't question that. If there's something excusing you from a higher authority, whatever it is. Not like Jesus said I can't go to work on Sunday, but you know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Like Jesus fucking, he got a sign from God
Yeah,
that it was
but,
gonna
like-
stop raining and didn't call me off the patio type shit.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. But you know,
Still mad
okay,
about
we're gonna
that.
let this go.
I can't. I'm honestly
It's been a
angry.
week.
Ronnie, it was like 2
Oh,
days
was it?
ago.
It was.
That's
Okay.
a good point to make.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna let it happen.
Fuck. Let it
We
fucking go
acknowledge
and
it.
let it
You
flow.
guys,
It's
Let
fucked
it
up.
flow.
We all acknowledge that
Because like everybody else gets, I don't know.
she's not letting me go.
No, because you know
she's
why?
all fucking bitter.
Because you know why?
Why? Because I got called off
They
today
even
because
called
I'm
me
innocent?
to come in early.
Oh yeah.
Can you
he's
come in
here.
at 4:30 for the patio? Was like okay. Anyways, continue.
4:30 to 6. So
Yes.
weirdest shift.
4:30 when it's.
Yeah,
It's because you're not gonna get anything.
Right.
Man, my ear itches.
Let it go, G.
It's because you're not fucking spinning it properly and cleaning it properly.
Are you supposed to clean it all the time?
Yes, Mija.
Oh my
What
God,
I would
yours
say
is
is that there's a certain
So
type of
stupid.
human being that is employed in the managerial department that is nowhere, I think, in the right place to be a manager.
Which is why I'm happy that you didn't become a manager, Devin,
I'm very
because they
happy.
would have fucking chewed you up and spat you out, or it would have changed you.
I'm so blessed that I got injured because I got to stop working for the first time in like 12 years.
And
looked
they
at my
paid you
and they paid
to
me.
not
Yeah.
fucking work
Mhm.
because
And I
fuck
looked at
you,
them like-
Cheesecake Factory. Just kidding. Good job.
It was a pittance to get by.
They
Yeah.
didn't really help me out that much when I got injured.
Yeah. They don't give you much
You didn't have
in a
like,
workers' comp case.
you have to
And,
pay into it to get out of it.
Oh really?
I did.
Are you gonna go outside right now?
Like my workers' comp
that
was
is so
taken
clear.
out of my taxes that I paid to the state of California.
Huh.
So like since I've started working, I've paid $34,000 into my workers' compensation fund for California SDI or whatever it was.
34,000. You don't mean 3,400.
Yeah, 34,000.
Oh, that's
Why
a
is California
lot.
taking all of our fucking money?
Honestly, it's
For
And
what?
what is
so
it paying
crazy.
Like for what? Honestly.
What?
I know.
Honestly.
Honestly, man.
I think we could. Okay, I think there's one photo of it on my Instagram. I was like, no on Prop 6, I think, which had to do with the gas tax.
Yeah.
We were attempting to repeal it because I think the money is continually abused for other things.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to be for road funds, and it's always abused for bullshit.
If it was for road funds, the LA Times would not have donated $5 million to marketing for it to pass. So
It's just one example of how the state really fucks with
everything.
everything. Absolutely everything. It makes it
You
really
post
difficult.
so many things.
I-
You're supposed to find it.
I read this
I
thing
think it's Prop 6.
where it was $77 billion is the current cost of the California bullet train.
Oh, there it is. Yes on 6. Reverse the gas tax.
That was it. Yeah. Reverse that.
Repeal it.
I thought it
Repeal.
already was.
What do you mean?
No.
I'm not
They
trying to sound
voted. They
ignorant.
voted
I'm
to
just trying
keep
to
after
be
it
informed.
being illegally put in. After us being after it being illegally signed into act by the governor without us
Jerry
voting on
Brown?
it. Yeah. They voted to put it on the ballot for us to repeal it, but we voted to keep it instead.
Why?
Well, not enough people voted.
Not
Obviously.
enough
That's what I
people
think.
voted. Yeah.
Was it on was this like the midterm election thing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had a lot of stuff that we were all supposed to vote on.
Yeah.
But that's where like the little voices are heard, or they're supposed to be. So that's why people have to be passionate about voting, and we have like such a people don't care enough to vote because they don't think that their voices are going to be heard, or they're lazy.
I think there's a
Actually, not
twofold
cool.
issue with that piggybacks off that, if I may. I think that in America, we have a freedom that we seem to all recognize, and yet we seem to only use it in a way that there's a freedom to do anything. Like there's 1,000 different choices of cereal, of liquor, of bullshit to buy,
But it's all the same.
right? And it's all really just 1,000 different directions of bullshit.
Mhm.
There's
Illusion
no
of
kind of
choice.
center. There's no real central value to guide life.
Mhm.
I mean, you get the high school degree, and then you're free.
No, you're a
Bullshit.
fucking
You're
slave to the system your whole goddamn life.
right there. You begin. That's you're tricked into that.
Dead. A potato ball.
What do you got there? Yes.
Ooh.
Can you get one of those flax things?
Yeah.
They're
I'm
so
happy
good.
that you like them.
I'm going nuts over
double
these.
ball sacks.
I want your recipe, and
I have red hair, so I like
I'll
potatoes.
make them, and I'll also turn them into cookies and give you some.
Okay, so I read this thing, right?
I'm gonna try the chocolate ones now.
The current cost of the California bullet train, $77 billion.
So it started already.
The state of California could set
Wow.
aside
Mm.
$43 billion.
What is this one?
I don't know which one that is. The state of California could set aside $43 billion and buy Southwest Airlines and still have $30-something billion left over and move more people per year than a bullet train could possibly move. And with federal or with state subsidies, they could make it cheaper per ticket than the bullet train and still have $30 billion plus left over.
That would be such a great idea. Think about California. So here's what I do as a political platform. I would kind of piggyback off, I think, a lot of like neoconservative
We're
views
closed.
to.
Sorry, it's 10:59. I can't get a meal. What do you
Whoa! This is only free conversation, girlfriend.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
I thought bars closed
Yeah,
too.
there's no paying here. We're a commune.
Great.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm
our
saying.
post hippie
Oh,
culture, we're gonna take down Sacramento.
Hey.
You gotta be easy with that.
I think
And be nice to old faithful behind you. Jesus Christ, that's
What's
a flag,
Old
dude.
Faithful?
just stepping on the
Yeah.
flag.
Oh,
Better move
wow. I'm an idiot, everybody.
Why?
What's
it.
old
By
faithful?
the flag's over in the corner, guys. Just so you know.
It is. God, this is like a blur.
What are you working on, Katie?
Heard it.
We're working the door right now, guys. By the way, guys. It's out of frame.
Oh my god.
Okay. I think I got it. Is it closed?
It's popped open.
Ah.
I'm kidding. It's good.
Just push on it.
You're about to pop it open again.
Watch that.
Can we just talk about how I'm going to Coachella this year for my first year and the
Whoa.
life is trash?
All I know is that
Trash.
Kanye West won't be there.
Good.
Why?
Oh, they won't put him on stage or something.
God, he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit.
Yeah, isn't he
You know when
socially
all of
relevant?
those fucking fires happened up in Malibu
Yes.
and like whatever? Him and Kim Kardashian
Hi.
paid
Private fire.
their own private firefighters to protect their house while
God.
all of their neighbors' houses burned to the ground, including fucking Miley Cyrus and Chris Hemsworth, who turned around and donated money back to the fucking
Yes,
fund
'cause I need
to
it.
help people. They lost what they owned and they still gave back, yet here are these two pieces of shit that had enough money to fucking protect their houses, not their neighbors. Nope.
I had a
Just because
confirmation by somebody the other day,
Pissed me
yesterday. In fact, I was bartending and somebody came in who was a friend of Valerie's husband. I don't
Will
know.
Estrada.
Yeah, super fucking nice.
Bald guy glasses?
Yeah.
Yes, super nice. And he came in and he like he said he worked at Ruth Chris next door.
Mhm.
Yes.
And the Kardashians came in and they forgot to tip him.
They didn't forget.
Forget. I was like, they didn't forget to tip their plastic surgeon, huh? And he was like, oh.
Yeah, fucking.
But no. Like, for real. Like,
And
how
then
do you
can't you just
forget
put them on
that?
blast and just like take a picture and be like, thanks so much, Kardashians.
Right.
Chloe,
What?
that you're better than that.
Oh, you're talking to her
Yeah,
personally.
She's never going to watch this.
Us
Well, you
servers.
never know. You never fucking know.
I just think people should tip their servers in general. I don't care if you're fucking.
I don't
Yeah.
think people should be required to tip their servers because companies should be required to pay people a living wage.
Wow.
That's a
Also
good
very
point.
true.
That's
Also
a really
good point.
That's how they do it in Australia, though.
Yes,
like
they do.
servers are paid a ridiculous amount of money. That's why Australians don't necessarily tip in America because they think that
It's
the
already
person in
included.
that position is making what their people make. And I think that one of the guys, he was a what do you call those? A flight attendant from Australia. What?
Flight
And
attendant?
he was a flight attendant, and he said that their servers there make equivalent like $25 an hour to just serve people. That's why
Yeah.
they aren't tipped. So that would be.
It's a pretty good gig, at least.
Yeah.
A little bit less than
Is it,
Do you think that we, in turn, make more money, though?
if you, I used to have that app
If
called
you, like,
Tipsy.
calculate it?
Shameless fucking shout out to
More
that app
money than who?
where you could type in like how many hours you worked, like on the dot, like
Yeah.
5.61, and I made X amount of dollars in tips.
Because sometimes we can make, like, up to, like,
And it will
$30
tell
an
you like,
hour,
oh, you made like $40 an hour.
Yeah.
Or I wonder what I made an hour the other day. That'd be crazy.
Oh, I know.
Damn.
Yeah, Sunday?
That was a good day.
It was a good day for you.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, like one day I made a cheesecake factory at work. Like 4 hours, I made like $100.
It's pretty solid.
Awesome.
That's super solid.
You're just walking around the tables and cleaning things up.
Yeah. That place, they never really got serious.
Actually, Torin didn't do out the trash. That fucking sucks. Especially when you put the timers on the dumpsters. You don't even know how fucking annoying that shit is.
You know what's annoying is the fact that it won't fucking stop raining.
Dude, that
We're
Eric,
living right now.
Still.
That Eric bitch was
I know. I have a
really
documentary to shoot at 11 p.m. So
Eric?
I know, we need to go soon.
What documentary?
that little dude
It's
who
story
came
of the
in,
orange circle
just
and
like
rain.
stole both the
How
oxygen
beautiful.
and his promotion.
And the
I don't
wine.
remember an Eric.
Who?
Talking about the. You mean the guy that the food runner, Eric?
Yeah.
Love
He was a
him. He's
busser
like
first.
Abe's.
He stole a promotion? Can you steal a promotion?
Well, Torin's been working here for like.
So Torin and Yoxton and I were both pestering them for fucking promotions for fucking like ages, and then that dude gets hired, and then
Less than 2
promoted.
weeks, he goes from food runner to, or from busser to food runner.
Oh, he's that new?
Fuck yeah!
Oh,
I
he's
thought
fucking-
that-
he's brand fucking new.
Like
he's
when
one of the,
I
favorite
started
is
working
he?
there?
he's one of the newest employees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
I don't know if you should. It's been a little bit longer than 2 weeks. Let's not.
Well, now it has.
Well, no, like,
but like
did
when,
he come before I did?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, he's really new then.
Yeah.
Before me.
Yeah, he's been there longer than.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's still new.
I thought he's been working
People
there
move
for
in and
years.
out of there so fast.
Well, listen, I don't know about that. I've been there for fucking 8 years.
I've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
I feel.
But you know what?
Yeah,
like,
it's-
as much
it's
as we
like-
knock
The
it,
way
we
he
talk
talks
shit about
about
it,
though,
we
it's
make enough.
like he's been there for a long time.
In the year and a half I was there, we had like 7 or 8 managers move, right?
Well, our managers
Total?
filter through very
I don't
quickly.
have any of the
Yeah.
same managers that I started with.
I've been there through all of the general managers that stores
How
have.
many were there for like 2 weeks?
I've had strong words about Al Bianchi.
Wow, what happens? I want to know.
We have to watch that podcast.
Oh,
Maybe it was like
I have to
5.
watch that. I'll tune in.
What episode?
I fucking hate
It's
Al
3.
Bianchi. That
Oh.
guy had powdered hair, you guys.
Who?
Like, he was balding, and he used this, like, stuff. It basically is like pepper, I think.
Like
I don't know how
Benjamin
it works. And you
Franklin-esque,
just, like,
or
flake,
no?
you, like, flake it, and it makes your spot turn, like, dark, so it looks like you have hair. And then he always had this thing where he would adjust his junk, which I normally would be like, yeah, every man has to do that, but probably not 3 times in a 5-minute time frame. Like, he just really liked jangling that thing around. Just
like, what's going on?
like, he would, like, I don't know, like, he was excited and he needed to, like,
Oh my
move.
goodness.
I don't know. But it was so distracting because, like, you would even be in a conversation with him and he'd, like, be shaking his head in his very, like, intense way of, like, staring you in your eyes. Be, like, this close. Like, really, he'd lean in. He'd lean in to really hear what you're saying. But he'd also, like, yeah, that's so interesting. Like,
Yeah.
Like, okay, is he jerking himself off or like?
Smell him while he was adjusting himself.
yeah, I can't. And he had a lot of, like,
Yeah.
inappropriate relationships with people that we worked with. So, like, that's all I have to say on that.
Oh,
Who?
And he told me I was mentally unstable and I would never serve a guest.
Who?
Yeah.
Unstable.
Yeah. Our old GM. So I had to
Wait,
transfer
who
service.
was that?
What
Al
happened?
Bianchi.
Are your words as strong as her words?
Did he call you mentally
Did he get
unstable
fired?
and banish you from serving?
Did you get
No. Other stuff happened to me in Huntington Beach.
Oh, you had
No. I had Kristen, who briefly stopped at Anaheim after she got in trouble at Newport. Blonde, older white
Blonde.
lady.
Oh,
She
the
was-
one who slept with that guy in the
fucking
parking
power
lot.
trip.
Who?
Were you
Yes.
here where she stopped in under
Yeah.
Brent's tenure?
Yes.
Yes.
She was there for like a month while Sean was gone. And they switched back. Yeah, she's out of the company now, but she.
Because she had an illicit relationship with one of her subordinates in the car of the parking lot. Is what I heard.
And she like always come off as this like
Liar
liar than thou
Yeah.
bitches, family
Mm-hmm.
bullshit. She's a
Yeah.
bitch. She's the bitch. No, I didn't know Al Bianchi. I got to Anaheim a month after he left.
You really dodged a bullet on that one.
I opened Huntington with
Somebody
Jim, though,
say it
so I knew him from day one.
I really liked Jim. I enjoyed him a lot, and I wish the best for him.
He was much chiller at Anaheim and Huntington. Huntington was under a lot of stress.
He did well. Stop yawning.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Did I tell you about my
It's not that I'm
superpower?
bored.
You're what?
My superpower when people yelling.
What is that?
No, I would have told you about it. You would've-
Yeah, you did. Like this. When people yawn.
No. Shh.
You
What
think
did
he's
you
gonna
say,
sock me in my
superpower?
fucking
No.
a mouth or
Whoa.
what?
No, he'll finger bang your fucking throat
Oh,
hole.
no, you don't know what I'm talking about then.
Oh.
Whoa.
He's like, but now he's
If you think it's that PG, then no.
Oh my Lanta.
just fucking jump up and like
Do
throw
it.
your dick in their mouth.
While you two finger popping each other's asshole.
Oh God,
Wendy
I don't
just
think
got
I
in
want to
trouble
know
for
now. I
saying
thought
that
that was like what it was.
Wendy said that to me the other day, and Brandon was like, Wendy, don't say stuff like that on the line. We had a talk already.
Whoa!
It's fucking funny. Wendy's like, sorry, Matt.
Sorry, Matt.
Wendy's real. I think she's got a dirty heart.
She is so fucking funny.
She'd be great on the podcast, I think.
You should bring her in.
I love Wendy. She's amazing.
She's real.
She's a
She'd be
fantastic
super
person.
fucking funny on this.
Yeah, she would. She's funny as fuck.
See, and that is such a good segue to coming to what the next podcast will be in the future. We don't know how the schedule works. This is new.
This is true.
Andrew canceled yesterday because he wants to get in with someone else. He really wants to do it with Edson. Here's what I found
Who's
out.
Andrew?
Andrew, has the YouTube channel
Film
Film
Phantom.
Phantom. He does movie reviews. I got his top 5, his worst 5. I don't have a bone to pick with him at all. I do want to talk movies with him though, and I'd love to use my podcast with him when he does visit as a recurring guest to highlight films and talk about them in length, because his channel is a similar format to other YouTube channels. And that's the differentiation for what I'm doing and what other people are doing. A lot of people, they want to shoot for that like couple minute, really fast, exciting kind of segment, and it's highly edited, and I respect that, but that's why people will look at this and at least admit that it's authentic, because nothing's edited out. It's a long form discussion that you don't get otherwise in society. Like, how often do we all get together and just talk at all ever?
Very true.
Honestly,
I sit and stare at a computer screen.
yeah, we mostly do for a lot of work today.
I hate my phone.
And we're on the phone all the damn time.
Society didn't have to like that.
You know, that's what I found. Like, people are really excited about this idea, but it's so hard to drag themselves away from all the bullshit they're already committed to, even if it's, you
I
know,
was
nothing
excited
at all.
for it because it's so different.
Well, I think Edson was very excited in the very beginning. He's one of the first people I invited on, but he's been the most resistant. Like, I had breakfast with Lily to kind of then have her nudge him.
How would she nudge him?
They're going.
Oh.
Anyways.
Well, they were a thing then.
Anyways.
You know who told me that information? You did.
So, anyways, Ethan Everhart goes way back with Edson, and so he wants to get on the podcast too.
He'd be fun.
Yeah. We
He
used
has
to
an
smoke
interesting story.
We used to smoke out in the car back in the day.
Ethan?
Like,
you should get Ronnie on too.
I just met him.
see,
He's
Ronnie's
very nice.
cool.
Oh God.
Ronnie, wait, did you guys ever used to go to Ronnie's parties? Like,
Fuck
out
yeah,
I
that's
think
what
I
I'm
only.
saying.
You know what? You and I went to one
Yeah,
together.
Lori
That
brought me,
was
and it was
awkward
fucking
because
wild.
everyone fucking started talking rumors right after that, and then Matt made me cry in the parking lot.
I
Famous
remember
names.
those
Okay,
rumors.
well.
Yeah.
I'm asleep right here.
I just had to get all my drama out of my system.
I never made
Go
it.
sleep
Apparently,
under
like,
your
his roommate had good shrooms, and I was supposed to hook up with this person.
Yeah,
His
that,
roommate
his
had all
roommate
the
was
drugs.
the person who blessed Torin and I with our first LSD trip.
Holy shit.
What?
But we weren't at Ronnie's house. We met him in the forest, not knowing he was there,
Oh,
just randomly at the
that's crazy.
campground.
Oh yeah, Jeff.
Oh, you know this guy.
Yeah.
See, I only know Sam, Cheesecake Sam.
Yeah, I think I've heard of Sam.
Cheesecake
Sam-
Sam.
Sam
You know
Fowler?
Sam. You know
That.
Sam.
Oh, yeah,
Sam
so we
Sorrentino?
were-
Used to be the bartender?
Sam Ferrer.
Yeah.
We were at-
Yes.
He was the
Yeah.
mushroom
Sam
man.
what?
The magic mushroom man.
No.
Sam.
So we went out to the Kern
No,
River.
he didn't know Sam.
And
Sam
Are you
was already
sure?
gone. Yeah.
I knew Jill and Mike from day one.
Chris
Hi.
Roosh said goodbye to Sam.
Those were the
You didn't
only-
know Chris Roosh?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, shit.
You remember Sam? He had the blonde hair, and his hair was combed like this,
I
and he
wasn't
had
really
nice
blonde.
teeth, but he lost one, and he also has a banana tattoo on his big foot.
More. I think it's
The Andy
reference
Warhol
Velvet.
banana?
Yeah, Velvet Underground.
That's cool.
It's good shit. I like Nico.
No,
No, it's a good song.
no, I was he was just.
I knew Adam.
Oh,
No,
you know
that's
what?
Adam Petit.
Yeah,
No, that's a different guy. He's beautiful.
he really is.
Adam's more of like a shit. Sam's more like a rugged outdoors look.
He had a beard.
Yeah.
Oh.
Not blonde.
Grizzly
Brown.
Adams had a beard.
Yeah. He had the mushrooms. It was good stuff. That's what I was getting to.
I've never had a good
Mushroom
experience with those.
Daylight, and you need to be in a natural
Yeah.
environment.
Always been taking
Ooh,
too much on
I
this
recommend
every time.
Single dose, good Balboa Park in San Diego.
Don't go on a porta potty.
Yeah. So we went.
Yeah.
So we went
So
to
the
the
last
Kern
time was
River.
in a
Matt and I
porta-
went to the Kern River looking to take shrooms with everybody else because we thought there was like a bunch of shrooms and we thought we'd like buy some shrooms and stuff and take a shroom trip. But like no, there was just barely enough for everybody else. And then
I was like, fuck
So-
this, I'm going to bed. Torin's like, wake up, I got LSD.
I'm like, good morning.
yeah, so just,
Why does that sound like the most terrifying fucking thing going
That
on?
does
Good morning
sound
by
terrifying.
Kanye West plays in the
not
background.
exactly like that.
Not exactly like that.
Not exactly.
But, so
Wait, so at night
I was
you
sitting
took a dose
around
of
the
LSD?
campfire and like Jeff, I started talking with Jeff and about drugs and stuff and how everybody, and we started talking about how everyone there was going to take some shrooms and how I was wanted some that I couldn't find any. And he's all like, well, just trust that. And like, you got any acid? And he's like, yeah. I was like, it's $10 each. And I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, I'll take 2 of them.
Nice.
Definitely. That was great. That was like my best acid trip for sure. Like started playing frisbee right at the beginning of it, and like the frisbee hovering, and it was great. And like patterns are really fucking
Jesse
great. Like,
Imperial cooked us corn.
the corn, oh my!
It was so good.
It was incredibly funny though.
Let's talk about
too.
eating corn on LSD. That's
But
It was crazy.
like on the cob.
You
We were campfire,
Yeah,
like,
boil it.
in foil, just campfire corn, yeah.
Oh, I knew that.
But
Campfire corn.
they had mayonnaise, tapatio, parmesan. They had
Oh, like
Elote.
elote.
Fucking
Boom,
elote.
the way
elote.
you eat
Love
it
it.
and how messily you eat it is just insane. You're just like,
Always.
yeah, and the patterns are amazing. There was
No.
this camper that was all white
You
with
totally
like a
missed that.
light on
It was
it. It was
fantastic.
kind of like
Oh, gotcha.
fading
Fucking
in and out,
yeah.
and like people walking past it. And like it was just white, but like it was changing colors for me. And like there were the trees and the fire, and everything was great. And stepping over from the rocks into the bathroom, like onto the cement, it was like a bottomless chasm, and you always want to like step over it. It was like the funniest shit.
Ivan
And,
told the greatest story in the history of stories.
Oh yeah,
So good.
that was. Oh my god.
I heard
We-
this story
we
once
need to
before
go
from
do
another
drugs again
perspective.
with
It's really
Ivan and listen to
enjoyable.
one of his stories.
He's really great.
Yeah.
And
I smoked them just a tinge before. Once before. It's good. He's a good guy. I'd want to get Jesse on in the future because
The manager, so you can't talk about shit.
I love Jesse.
I would talk about economics with him. That's what we used to do.
I was gonna say, well, you said manager Jesse, and I was like, I love him.
There were two.
Yeah. Well, one works in Huntington Beach now, I think.
Is that where he is?
Yeah.
He's
cool.
All right, you duty.
He's gonna
Katie's
roll?
boyfriend comes home, so I need to get her home so that she can do her lady business.
Hey,
I like that.
that's all. That's
Do you
all
have a dick
good.
appointment?
That's all good.
I can't have her be
That's all
late.
good.
do.
I'd love to have you guys back for another podcast. Maybe we could like have something we could like come back to discuss or talk about like where each of our own projects might be heading.
I think that
I
I
another
want to be
cool
on every
idea
multiple of
for
four.
this is to like get people to like weigh in a little bit. So I don't know like if like maybe we could do like a Facebook Live segment at some point, and that way like people could ask us questions and we could like respond.
that'd be
You know
yes,
what I mean?
that's yeah.
Like
Yeah,
that
we're
way,
happy to do that.
because like this, you have like all the setup for it,
Mhm.
and it, I don't know, like maybe we could have like a
Live
poll and
stream
find out what like
almost.
people would want us to talk about and weigh in on, and then like live stream post it at a certain point in time, and people can like
Yeah, we
fucking
should
ask
have a-
questions, and we
Oh,
could just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
hash shit out. Because I like
I'd be
that
happy
we're all
to do
like
that.
talking, but like, what if you say something and like someone out there, like, because you know you want people to like listen in on your fucking conversation. What if they're like, I have a fucking point and I want to add it and I can't? Like, now they could.
Ivan and Robin and I have done that at the bar before.
I would be
A live
careful
Q&A.
about like what we want to read out, like what we want to accept. Like with someone,
what
whoever's like
before the
reading
bar?
it off should be like
Oh no,
filtering.
yeah, they would be like, I'm not gonna say that. But
Yeah.
it would just be like,
Okay.
oh, so and so, and we would say their name. We'd be like, this is not fucking anonymous. We'd be like, Matt Cruz said blank, and then he'd be like, Matt Cruz is a fucking dick, you know, if he said something stupid. But he wouldn't, because he's so intelligent and beautiful. I love his little
He is a
unicorn.
beautiful man.
So intelligent.
Wow.
Like
So
the
that just like
logistics
stays
and
in the
stuff.
goo all the time.
Latte.
Not unless they put it in the
So
fridge.
clever.
It's not really goo. Like,
Like slime?
it's like taffy.
Taffy's
Oh,
good.
it is.
Kind of
Salt
gooey.
water's
Oh
good.
my God.
Yeah.
Catalina has a
super gooey.
lovely saltwater
I
taffy.
still want a
Catalina
fucking
needs to, like-
buffalo shaky.
So like
snack.
I'm still getting in the.
Cool.
I'm still
You're gonna
getting
be
in
so
the
hyped
swing
on
of
those, and then you
things.
broke my heart when you said I couldn't fit on your grandpa's boat.
Because you're 6'5" and you're huge.
I know, your boat's 28
And I
feet long,
probably
or
was
whatever.
about to have Gavin murdered. Okay, so we're gonna end on this story. Maybe not. I don't know. I'm just fucking saying shit.
It's cold.
Every year, we sail out to Catalina, and it takes a long time. I asked my grandpa, how long is it gonna take? He said an hour. I could probably ask that question over 5 times. So just put that in perspective. So
It took more than an hour.
he was supposed to meet us there. Matt was gonna like hang out. We were gonna camp on Catalina and have buffalo milk, which is a great alcoholic beverage that they make with like creme de coco and creme de banana and chocolate syrup and ice and Kahlua maybe. I don't know. It tastes like a peanut coffee chocolate, not peanut banana.
Chunky
Like,
monkey
kind
ice
of.
cream adult.
And it has like so much alcohol in it. So you like have 2 and you're just like fucking crazy. So
Fuck yeah.
he was supposed to
Shut the
come out
fucking
there
mouth.
and like we were all stoked on it and like he was gonna come and I was like, they're like, when is your friend coming out here? And I was like, oh, he's coming out on this day. And my grandma was like, whoa, wait, he? And I was like, yeah, he's like a good friend of mine, you know, whatever. And then my dad was like, you know, you've met him. He's like, you know, big 6'5". And my grandpa's like, there's not enough room on this boat. And I was like, Matt, there's not enough room on the
What?
Yeah, it sucked because there totally was like down in the cabin or whatever the bunker,
It would have been a tight
whatever
squeeze.
you want to call the down under of the boat. It is already very tight. Like the couch area that I sleep on or the bed is like this space. Like I put down the table and I sleep there.
How long is
And
the
then my
average
little brother
bed
has
on a
one
boat?
and my dad has another one and my dad sleeps on like under the
Probably
front
like
end of the boat, just like a little mummy. So I was like, me and Matt could like sleep on the top of the boat.
Right.
But then it was kind of cold, and then my grandma was like, "You guys will freeze." And then
Okay,
I was,
next time though, hammocks on top of the boat for fucking sure.
so like,
yeah, you
Now,
need a hammer.
here's my thing. Are
Take
you
a
guys
hammer
guys
for
on
the
like a week's voyage or like what?
No, it's
No,
like
we were
3
gone-
days
yeah.
to Catalina.
What?
That can't
No,
be
it
that
takes-
bad. Like,
Well,
I don't know. My
can you put
grandpa's
up with
being
that?
like
3
so.
days?
And you're allowed to get off
I'm
the
just
boat
talking,
and like
you know,
go
like,
into
it's
Yeah.
a
3
secret.
days to Catalina? How?
No, it
No,
doesn't
it's
take 3 days
3-day
to get
trip
there.
to
Like you
Catalina.
go out there, you stay for a night, you stay
Like
there for
what?
2 to 3 days, and then
How
you
is that
sail back.
possible?
But like, I don't know. I feel like it would be better with like a low maintenance group of people because it would just be like, let's just bring like the necessities, and like if we want to go to town, we can go to town, and like if we want to rent stuff, we can rent stuff.
I'm bringing the
But,
like-
necessities and I'm going to town.
I've never
But, like-
been there. And
But like my grandparents and my parents, like I don't know why they think that we're like fucking, why are we living life like high on the hog right now? Like we can totally have hot dogs. But like my grandma's like, and the first night we're gonna have ribeyes, and then for the morning we're gonna have eggs benedict, and lunch we'll have sandwiches followed by a charcuterie board at sunset. And then I'm like, grandma, like this is us, it's family, we all know that fucking hot dogs are okay, but like they put on this huge fucking show and it's annoying as shit. So there's not enough space for anyone because they have like tubs
because
of
of the
food.
charcuterie boards.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is extra.
I get it.
I could just go to the fucking island and get a buffalo milk and then take the water taxi back to the boat, which is a very cool thing.
Ooh,
Because you don't, like, you can't, unless you have a duffy, dinghy, what do you call them?
Dingy.
that's about
A
right.
dinghy to get to land, and you have to have a light on it. So unless you have one of those, and preferably a motor, because if you're rowing, it'll take all of that. But you want to, like, have that, unless you, and then if you don't, you call, and you're like, hey, water taxi, and that's, like, kind of like a dinghy on steroids. They come and pick you up at your little lot, and then they take you to the land, and then you go and you get a drink, and they'll do last call for the water taxi back to your boats, and then you hop on, and it's a bunch of drunk as shit people at the end of the night.
Ooh.
We don't go to like the main side of Catalina, not like Avalon.
So they just
we're,
bring
Oh.
it to
we're,
part
Twin
of
Harbors.
we're on Twin Harbors. There's
cool.
just one,
They just bring you
one
to the
bar.
part of Catalina that you want to go to.
Yeah.
basically?
but they'll. I mean, if you're in Twin Harbors, then they take you to like the bar that's on Twin Harbors, which is like a restaurant and a bar and a dance floor, and sometimes they have beach parties, and you can rent out camping spots there too, which is super cool. So you don't have to
Fun.
stay on your boat. You can like be out and have like.
Sounds like a cool trip.
It is so much fun.
It'd be
We
something
should
cool to
fucking
talk
plan
about.
a trip.
Yeah,
Should
it'll be
document it.
super fun.
We should take Isaac and then get a camp spot up in the hills because he scouts out there. He's part of the Boy Scouts.
Okay, let's go. I took like a
I'm
lovely
so
hike
excited.
over there too. It's beautiful. Catalina's so awesome, except for there are sharks and that's scary. You know what? Listen,
And
they
bull.
won't bite you if you're cool.
If you're a
So-
dick.
I
Yeah.
cliff
You're
jumped
fucked.
off the backside of Catalina. I was part of junior lifeguards, and when you reach a certain age, you do a dive trip out to Catalina on the backside, and where they take the boat, there's a rocky shore, and there must have been like a watchtower or something there. There's an old foundation, but on this cliff, there's like this clear spot where you can get a good like 10 feet of running space and like take a dive, and it's like a vertical drop, so like there's no hitting rocks or anything, but you should get some clear distance, right? And so like maybe like 4 people had gone, and then they're like a giant, like 15 people were like, yeah, let's all do it. And so like I felt kind of pressured, and
You
as soon-
totally felt
and
the peer
so
pressure.
and so like you climb the hill, and then you're part of the group, and then you're at the front, and then
Oh, you go in
How-
the middle.
right. No, so it's like, how did I end up going up last, but now I'm at the front? I'm like, oh fuck, you know,
Middle.
it's so fucked up, right?
Always.
So I'm like, I'm here. I have to do it now. Or I'm gonna eat it, right? So I go. And it was like over 40 feet. And bless you. And my feet hurt so bad after.
Yeah.
But it was pretty badass. Like, I did it. Holy shit.
What? I'm not making a noise again.
And then the girl who came off right after, she landed right on her back.
Did she get all bruised?
Oh.
Okay, because Ethan, you could ask him all about this on your next segment on your podcast. His girlfriend and I went to fucking Havasu, and Copper Canyon's like a jump that you do there. So, at the lake. So, like, we climb up this fucking thing, and her brother was like, you guys need to wear life jackets. I was like, I'm fucking 25 years old, and I've only had 6 beers. I'm pretty sure I don't fucking need one. And he was like, wear your life jacket or else you're not allowed to fucking jump off that rock. And I was like, good dad. Like, I don't even know you. Fucking guy. So anyway, I jump off. I had a blast. It's all on fucking my GoPro. And then Alex goes to jump off after me. And I don't know why she did it. But she did. She runs with her legs like this. And then fucking lawn chairs it right onto the water. Like she was sitting. And she ass flapped the water so hard. I was like, oh, and I have all on GoPro video, and it happened so fast. But I was like, oh, and I kept it on, but I was like, I should try it on. I don't know. So I left it on, and me and Ethan come like swimming, like she sat like this, and so it like went whack on her thigh, and like you could hear it, and so we were like, oh no, and I was like, I'm just gonna like keep this on, and she was like, thank God she had that fucking life jacket on because she wasn't moving. It was just kind of like her laying next, like, ow, ow, ow. And I like put the GoPro over it, and you could already start seeing like the blood vessels like breaking. And I was like, I'm gonna turn this shit off. Like I couldn't do it because I was like, bro, you're fine. And I rewatched it, and I was like, oh no, her whole leg was like black and blue by like an hour later. So we had to like go back and then take her to the hospital and really put a damper on the day. But she launched it. But she launched it.
Wait, if this is the same girlfriend I'm thinking of, then she fucked Ethan over later.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know that story, so maybe she fucking deserved that bruise on her ass that lasted a couple of times.
Sure, you know that.
Maybe she's sketchy to begin with. It was just a karma thing. Who knows?
Her family is very sketchy. Like, they've been talking about, like, threesomes and stuff. And I was like, you guys are family.
That's fuck.
Like, stop that. It's fucking gross.
Not at the dinner table.
So they're weirdos.
I mean, I don't know. It was just really bizarre stuff. And I was like, I'm just
That's a heavy story.
Whose grandparents live
George
down
hit
the
grass with me and Ethan in the car. And George never smokes.
George? You should have him on your podcast. I like George.
George is interesting.
What's
George.
You like George?
George likes guns in America.
The other day I locked his front door on accident and he drew a gun on me.
Who?
What?
George. It wasn't loaded.
Wojnowski?
Yeah, it wasn't loaded, but I still locked his front door by
Do you
accident.
speak
He
Spanish?
he walked into his
about?
and he's like, who the fuck locked my front door?
Spanish George, yeah.
He's into guns in America?
Okay.
I was
Trump.
never pegged.
Trump a lot.
No.
Yeah, he loves Trump.
Yeah.
Okay,
Speak
you guys.
Spanish though, right?
But
he like
he's
half?
more Polish, I
Yeah,
guess.
but he hates Mexicans.
Isn't that weird, though, that I have a Mexican last name, but I'm probably just as much or more Polish than he is?
I'm Polish.
It's so in the
I'm
reverse.
Polish too.
Devin is Mexican?
No, Guerrero. His last name is...
I
because my he and I
Devin is Mexican? Is that what you just fucking said?
Who knows?
It's my last name.
Torin, you're too baked for
I
this.
just heard my name.
You ready? We gotta go.
I know, okay.
That's right, guys.
Devin, I don't
I know.
want to disrupt.
It's okay to wrong.
Sorry,
All right.
guys.
All right.
Don't leave.
Thank you everyone for tuning in, everybody, and I hope to have everyone back on. Have a good night.
I'll be back.
Bye. Nice.